All right. Where we left off, you are all still in Dunfield, the kind of small farming village outside of Eifelstead in the country of Pale, which is kind of at the edges of the Empire. In Dunfield here, you were leaving this kind of village area and have passed, or just were in front of Sarah's family home. The home itself, or the house itself, is dark. Curtains are pulled. No lights on inside. There's no fire, and there's no smoke coming out of the chimney or anything of that sort. We'll go ahead and move us over there. It's a small image, so it'll probably only take a second for everybody to get moved over.
Sarah, do you want to check on your house?
That's just a black screen for everybody, isn't it? Okay.
Just black.
Yeah. Let me change the lighting for it real quick.
Do you keep a incognito Wint tab open so you can see what other players are probably seeing, like with the hidden?
It's on a second PC, but yeah, I do. I put it on a second PC so that I can do that.
I should do that.
Yeah, that's exactly why I do that.
I'm always curious
exactly what everybody's seeing.
I'm always curious if like certain things are working the way they're supposed to.
Well, I test them ahead of time doing the same thing. I'll load up a second, either in a separate browser like Firefox.
But I still don't trust
it that way. Or I do it live during the game too by doing the same thing. So,
hey Sarah, do you should we wait for a second and see if you maybe want to go poke around, see if anyone's home before we make whatever camp we were planning on making?
Okay, you guys cut out really bad. Where exactly are we?
We're out front of your dirty house and no one's mowed the lawn. There's no lights on.
Right, so in that case, I'm still a badger.
Oh, you're still a badger?
Uh-huh. And I'm just leading them to wherever we can set up this trees.
The lady that came up to us earlier, was it a halfling?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to disguise myself as that woman, and I'm going to go up and knock on the door quietly.
Okay. Then you approach the house.
Hello?
It is very short. It is the right size for you. Basically, you can tell basically walking up to the door that you'll be able to fit through it fine. But really, even Nazim or Arteme trying to get in would be having to essentially duck down in half, and Norok it would just be flat out impossible. It's certainly a halfling-sized home. But as you're approaching, you don't see any motion in the windows. There's no nothing standing out that this place is even occupied. You knock on the door and then give me a perception check.
Ooh, my best things to roll.
Actually, go ahead. Everybody that would be watching the house, give me a perception check. And Becky, if you're polymorph, then it would be the... Actually, it's technically still wisdom, so...
reroll.
No, actually, polymorph. Polymorph, you do have it. So polymorph, you would still use the badger stats.
Still not good, but...
Badger.
Hang on.
Mushrooms.
Hello? Just checking in, seeing if anyone's home. Just from down the way. There was a bit of a ruckus. Just checking on ya.
Becky, you can just roll a d20 if you want. And I'll look up what a badger stats are for you.
Probably like +2.
I don't know how wise badgers are, so...
That's true.
15. That's not bad. Let's see what the badger has real quick. You back on your computer now, G? G?
G-unit!
Wisdom +1, so a 16. Sarah, you... Nazim doesn't see this. Yeah, Sarah would be the only one that would see this then. With your badger gaze, you know which room is where Theodore's study is. And you notice just a flash of light, just a very brief flash of light in that room. Like a curtain being pulled out of the way and then immediately slammed shut again. And that's it. But you're in badger form and can't really communicate that. Pogo, having knocked on the door, you don't hear sounds, you don't see it, nobody comes to the door, there's no response. As far as you can tell, nobody's home.
Is the door locked?
You tried the doorknob, and indeed it is.
All right, well, just wanted to come say hi, and I ate a very nice apple earlier today. Thought I'd show you some of the trees that had these apples on them.
At this point, I'm just walking up and grabbing his pant leg and pulling him away.
No, have a good
All right. All right, so this giant badger, which for pogo size is probably shoulder, shoulder height, comes up behind you,
This is my
nibbling
new
at your
pet.
clothes and
Go
pulling
on.
you away.
See you at Christmas.
Arteme, you also would have seen the kind of flash of light in one of the windows.
All right.
But you see Sarah pulling the badger that is Sarah, of course, pulling Pogo away and back towards the kind of dirt road leading out of
Well,
town.
I don't know if anyone's home, guys. Sorry. Figured I'd check. Maybe find out if anyone's home, but doesn't seem as though anyone's there. Should we just go make camp then?
Pretty much.
Sarah's nodding in
Yep.
badger form. All right, then you guys make your way out of town, out towards the kind of outskirts where Sarah would go and sleep. Not that she can really tell you this, but her leading the way, kind of taking you around near, kind of out behind one of the other farms at the edge of town. You are all just soaked through. Even your badger fur is soaked. It is still raining hard with occasional peals of thunder. It doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. So when you find a decent enough area that you can plant the tree, assuming Arteme, is that what you're going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
when we get there, I'll drop badger form and show her kind of like where to place it so it's not as noticeable.
Okay. All right. Then you lead her around. There's one big oak out there where you would normally sit to read, and kind of using that to obstruct as best you can from not only the nearest farm but also the rest of the town. This is all flat land, by the way. You guys, the area surrounding Eifelstead here is all flat for miles. There are, foothills to the southwest. So, I mean, the further you get away, the more you start getting into hills. But for now, you can see except for it being dark and stormy out, you could normally see for quite a ways, all the way back into town. So,
Do you think-
with the tree,
Do you guys
Go ahead.
think anyone's going to notice this large treehouse? Should we try to do something around it to make it look like it's not just a random treehouse built here? Or do you think anyone will notice? I mean,
Well, I was
we'll only need it overnight, so it's not like we're going to have it for a very long time.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay.
okay.
And I'm going to spend 10 minutes and a spell slot bringing Peter back to reality.
Okay. P tier.
P
Then you, as you're doing that, Nazim, you watch Arteme kneel down in the dirt, kind of mud almost, especially as soaked as it is, and plant she pulls a twig out of the bag of holding, kind of a decent sized stick basically, and jabs it into the dirt and begins a ritual surrounding it in this kind of green glowing energy that forces it to grow into a live tree. Not quite the size of the oak, but still quite large. And as the tree grows up higher and higher, it kind of splays out into an open basin, almost like a bowl shape, almost without leaves. So imagine just the tree doesn't have any leaves or kind of sticky branches all the way around, but these kind of almost spider-like legs that are going upwards, creating this kind of almost bowl shape. And inside of it, as she finishes this, you see the arcane glow beginning to surround this, the bowl shape into this kind of dome shape. This is very large, about 10-foot radius, isn't it, I think, Fox? Or is it 5-foot radius for a 10-foot total?
I think 10 foot total. Let me do
Not
that.
Basically,
huge.
yeah, that guy, he's got to pretty much just duck the entire time he's in it. It's pretty small, but it'll do. What do you think? Do you think this stands out too much? What do you think, Nazim? Think this is a little too much out here in this forest, or think it'll do?
It'll have
Yeah,
to do.
10 foot radius.
It is okay. So it is 10-foot radius, but it is the bottom half of it. So it's basically a dome that is 20 feet from one end to the other, but only 10 feet tall. So yeah, Norok's head almost is almost too close, especially if he gets near the edge.
We're like in a weird snow globe.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of a half. But at least you're not inside at the moment. But it does. You can see the rain is plinking off of this. This dome is very difficult to see from the outside. It's almost translucent from the outside, but you can see that the rain is plinking off of it and then just washing down the side. So apparently, it would be shelter of some sort.
While she's building the tree, I'm gonna spend 10 minutes and put alarm up around it
Okay.
in the ritual.
Okay.
How does that work? How much distance is that going to be? I think we're pretty much. I think as long as we're in there, nothing can even hurt us.
Famous
it'll let
last
us
words.
know- Yeah, so it'll let us know if, within 60 feet? Audible alarm perceives the sound of a handbell. Oh, no, that's just the sound. So it's just if they cross the line, right?
And no larger than a 20-foot cube, and if anything touches the line, yeah.
Yeah, so
If they actually even touch it and then come back, it would still go off.
Yeah, so I'll put it out as far as I can, just around the bottom of the tree.
Sure.
Make sure that Peter is not going to trip that, right? I'm gonna keep him up in this tree, this big oak next to us.
Well, no, I can designate who it goes off to, right?
Yeah. I think it's up to 10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, designated. You can designate creatures that won't set off the alarm.
Oh,
That's all
okay.
it said.
Yeah, no limit then. Sure. Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
did you hear that, Peter? You're fine. Don't mind that I look like a little old woman.
Oh,
This
you
is
haven't
all part
reverted?
of
You're
the
still
job.
going to be the
No,
old
I
halfling
still look
woman?
I better double check and see if I actually still have that equipped.
Oh, did you take your hat off? Yeah, did you unattune that for something?
I gotta double check. No, I still got it tuned. Yeah, how to
Okay.
disguise, lithic, and the winged bracers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Then you finish the ritual about the time that the dome comes up, and through the kind of foggy, misty fog of it being, still surrounding us in this kind of cold rain in the late fall rain here. The coalesced shape of this very large, certainly terrifyingly large for what should be a scary image to the halflings for sure, because you'd essentially be food for this kind of a creature. The form of the griffin reappears out of the smoke and fog. He screeches in your face and then just kind of sits there patiently waiting for what you want him to do. What do you guys
All
doing?
right. All right, Peter. I know it's wet, and I'm sorry about that. Are you okay? And I'm gonna give him some pets around his ears, and then I'm just gonna go in. I want you to go and stay in that oak tree, and I want you to keep an eye out. And if you see any humans that are wearing like kind of gold armor, what would that armor look like? It was like gold and white.
So their iconography,
the
like the
Juthrans
clothing
are wearing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Juthrans. Yeah, they wear tabards over the armor that are always white and red.
Right.
And then
So
the
if you
armor
see
is
anyone
silver or
wearing-
gold. But yeah,
Like white and red, clothing, like almost like a kind of like a cloak above their armor. Just go ahead and send me a little mind signal there, and let me know and wake me up to see in case they're coming towards this tree house that we have set up. It's not big enough for you, I'm afraid, but just go and you can relax inside this nice oak tree. Get a perch where you're not going to get too wet, and then I'll see you in the morning. All right?
he screeches loudly, much too loud for this late at night, and starts to plod off. He turns away from you and starts to plod off towards the oak tree. He's clearly already starting to get soaked and dripping, and he seems like hesitant to even unfold his wings. He's just kind of keeping them flat down to his sides, like he's trying to keep himself dry at least as best as he can, and does not fly over. He just walks his way over to the tree before using his claws to climb up into the tree. What are the rest of you doing?
Right, so I will be back in a minute. Sarah's gonna walk about 60 feet away.
Okay.
And it's dark out, right?
Very, yeah.
Good. All right, so she's gonna walk about 60 feet away and just sit down in the grass.
Okay.
And then she's gonna pull out her signet ring and just kind of put it on and then cast darkness on herself.
Okay. Using spells, sorcery points?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, just completely in the dark. And then she's just going to cry as quietly as she can while she
Okay.
tries to process.
Okay. Then all of you, from a distance, see Sarah walking off. It's 60 feet. I don't know that really any of you are going to even notice a dome of darkness appear in the distance, but any of you that were able to, see 60 feet in the dark, you might actually be able to see, a kind of a dark void in the distance. But apart from that, Sarah has departed the group. What are the rest of you doing?
Arteme, before we settle in for the night, would it be okay if I traded you one of these gold bars for some just spending money, some coins? I spent the last of my gold on that saddle for Peter.
Sure.
Does
have
Artemis have any coins? I know
Do you have any gold in the bag, or is it just stuff?
I have 15 gold.
You
never
picked up
mind.
25 gold. Like I think you were the one that took it from their pockets, right?
Oh yeah,
God.
yeah.
I feel like we're
So 40.
we're very like cash poor.
But I think I
We've got
put
all
that
this
in the bag of holding.
stuff. Well, that's not really that much. I'm not worried about that then. Never mind. I thought maybe you had like a treasure in there with gold, with some shillings, but apparently I was mistaken.
Well, she has 40 gold coins herself right now, and then if anybody else has coins, if you wanted to trade stuff or whatever. But you guys do have a crazy amount of wealth. It's just all in objects that you need to sell essentially right
Yeah,
now.
we need to find like some weird like some weird pawnbroker, some sketchy man in a back alley who's willing to pay us, 70 cents on the dollar for these large chunks of gold.
Best I can do is 45 cents.
So that's it. I think we should make that a plan. If we have an extra, an hour or two, find someone, or we're just going to have to start fucking murdering these bad guys and making sure that we take their money. You can't do a lot with just a giant chunk of gold. Like, it seems nice in theory, but it's just going to attract attention. We got to fucking get normal cash.
Well, yeah.
Gee, I haven't heard you since you. Okay, all right. Just making sure you were there because I hadn't actually heard you since you got on your computer.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, stupid headphones are cutting out. I'm going to just kind of look around and make sure I don't see anything else moving, and then go see if I can find where Sarah got off to.
Okay.
Make sure she's okay. Because Norok didn't really. Well, he just. I don't know if I even saw her walk off, but I'm just making sure that everybody's accounted for before I go to bed. So.
I would say that you would easily, know what direction she walked off in, and when you start to kind of walk out the direction, you can't see in the dark, but as you get closer and closer, you see this very dark void that you might guess she is probably in as you head that direction. So we'll say that you're, 30 feet or so on your way there. We'll come back to you in a second. What's Nazim doing?
How close am I to that house?
The nearest one? It's probably 300 feet away. It's a good distance away. Yeah, football field away.
Okay, and I can still slightly see in the dark, right? My character can still have.
So it's really dark here, but there's lights on in the house. So it's there's smoke coming from the chimney, and it's clearly like a fire in a fireplace kind of thing in the house. So you can see the windows are lit up because it's just flat land and there's nothing else all the way around. So it's kind of the only source of light that you can see except for the moon and the stars, which are very barely visible through the clouds.
Gotcha. I'd like to move closer towards the house, still within a safe, quiet distance, and maybe just do a little reconnaissance, keeping my mouth closed the whole time so my teeth do not reflect the moonlight.
Okay, so you're still in the farmer appearance then?
Of course.
Are you floating?
No, I'm walking
You're
quietly.
walking? Okay.
However, I am being very careful not to make any noise on the ground, so if I see any twigs or sticks, I'll just float an inch off the ground as to not create any noise.
Sure.
Now, I'm not actually going up against the house to look in windows, but I am going to get closer to see if I can get a sense of who's in there, or maybe sense some arcane magic that's coming out of there.
Now, wait, hang on. You know what? Let me clarify then. Were you referring to Sarah's house, or are you referring to the nearest farmhouse?
The nearest farmhouse.
Okay, all right, cool.
The one where we
right,
saw the light, I think.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, just making sure that you weren't thinking this was Sarah's house that you guys are near. All right, then in that case, then I'm going to say it's below the passive because of the noise of the rain and the storm. That there's really no risk of you making too much noise by stepping on a twig, for example. There isn't anything nearby enough that would even if you did step on one, it wouldn't matter. So with the precautions you're taking, there's really nothing that would be near enough as far as you can tell that would notice. So no need for a roll at that point. So we'll come back to you then as you're floating off that way. What is Artemis up to?
I'm probably just gonna eat and go down because once I put the dome up, I can't leave it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'll come hang out with you. I'll join you in the dome then.
All right. Then Pogo and Artemis having a chat and eating in the dome. Norok looking for Sarah. Nazim heading north. For Pogo and Artemis, I guess that the conversation about trying to trade for coins. Artemis, did you have any further response to that?
Oh, I had 25 gold in the bag holding, so I could I don't even know how much gold
I think
brick
these are
would
probably
be.
worth a couple hundred gold.
The
Honestly.
the bars are 250 each.
Yeah, so we'll just hold on to them. I mean, we've got more. It's crazy to me that we've gone through all these adventures, and we're just still we're cash poor. Like you think we'd have more money and to be able to go buy like a. By this time, we should be able to have like a hang glider or something, some
Diamond
sort of
hands. We hold on
like
to
a
that.
magic boat.
Diamond hands.
Diamond hand. Your aunt, she seems like a nice lady. Did you grow up going to all the different ruins on that island and things like that?
More or less.
Ah, seems like a really fun, childhood you had.
Not always. Some of the ruins are pretty cryptic.
Yeah, and pretty dangerous, apparently. I was unaware.
Yep. Full of booby traps.
Do you have, that was your aunt? I think I heard you talking about, was it your mom? Do you see her often? Is she in the capital or how's that situation?
Haven't been back in a while until now, so haven't seen them. I just shrug.
It was hot, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. I enjoyed it. These are good rations.
Are you actually eating something, Justin? Or are you trying to emulate your accent while
No, I'm
also
trying to emulate my
trying to
accent
fake your eating?
as if I'm eating.
I thought
How's
so.
it sound? Does it sound not terrible?
It's the accent isn't quite right, but I could tell that that's
Yeah.
what you were trying to do, so it's still accomplished.
Ah, there we go. Fortunately.
Okay, then we'll jump over to Sarah. What are you? Are you still?
Yeah, because she can't see anything in the dark, and she's not paying any attention to what's around her. So.
Okay, all right. So that was my question then. All right. So if you're not doing anything else and you're not looking around, and it's magical darkness, then you didn't cast it with sorcery points, so you can't see. If you remember, if you cast it with sorcery points, you'd be able to see out of it. So, Norok then.
Purpose.
Okay. All right. Then, Norok, you are about 30 feet or so from the edge of this just black void that is taller than you. It is a quite large black dome. I would say just by context clues, can gather that it's probably something Sarah has created. You didn't hear any screams. You didn't hear any risk of danger, and your feral instincts are not, going off here. You don't feel like there's a risk here.
All right, I'm gonna walk up just outside of it. I'm not gonna walk inside of it. And I'm gonna say, "Hey, Sarah, all of our moms are crazy. It can't be that bad. What are you doing in there?"
She is going to immediately cast Disguise Self to make it look like she hasn't been crying, which will drop the darkness, I believe.
Concentration? No, disguise self doesn't appear to be concentration.
All right, well then I will drop darkness.
Okay.
Just wanted a couple minutes to myself. No big deal. I'm fine.
Well, you shouldn't be out here by yourself when you got crazy religious fanatics looking for you. Artemis has the dome set up. You coming?
Yeah. She'll head back to the dome.
Okay.
All right, good.
So the
What's
last
about
paragraph. The thing is, Norok, you wouldn't be necessarily suspicious or anything, right? I mean, the situation seems pretty on the up and up, so I don't think Norok would necessarily be, unless you.
The only thing that Norik would have noticed is that Sarah wasn't there. So it's more just making sure that she was okay, because again, she was just the target of an attack. So just making sure that she's okay. Because, and then I'm guessing maybe she has a couple of nerves about being close to home. That's why I made that stupid joke. But again, I don't suspect anything though. No, because Norik doesn't pay super close attention to what other people are doing most of the time, as long as they're alive. So.
All right. Then you're both making your way back to the dome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Nazim, then we'll jump over to you. Making your way carefully towards this house. You're still probably 150, maybe 100 feet away at this point. The house, you don't see any change. There's nobody in the windows or anything of that sort. There's basically just, you can tell that there's a fire inside, and the thin curtains are just kind of window dressing type curtains, so you can easily see through a window. Not necessarily get at many details for inside, but you can see that there's clearly light inside. from probably a pretty healthy fireplace. But nothing stands out. Nothing seems suspicious. So what are you specifically looking for? Any sources of magic and so on?
Sources of magic, number of people kind of thing. So if there's no traps around and my dark vision is good enough to let me prowl around, I'll get a little bit closer to the house, just to kind of peek in the window just to see if I can get a head count.
Okay. You don't have dark vision, so you can't see, beyond just like the ambient light surrounding the place. You can't see into the. Oh, you do have dark vision for 30 feet. Never mind.
Yeah, 30 feet.
That's very short. So you would actually need to get to the house basically
Very
at that
close.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that case, you on the approach, there's nobody outside. You kind of carefully skirt, a good 3/4 or so of the outside of the house. There's a fence in the back part, a fenced-in pen area because this is a farm. And without crossing over the fence, you can't get to the back of the house. But surrounding the outside of it, you don't see anybody visible from far enough away. Anyways, you'll need to actually get closer to the house to actually peek inside. Go ahead and give me a stealth check now that you're this close. Because it is dark out and the noise, go ahead and make it with advantage. The noise from the rain and everything. Okay. You very carefully approach. There are multiple windows, of course. Most of the fire is visible from 2 of them, and it seems like both probably go into what is presumably a living room or a den area where the fireplace is. The other windows are, there's still a little bit of ambient light, like they probably have an open door that leads into those, but not any actual light source in those rooms. But the 2 windows that lead into the den area, you peek inside, and sure enough, the fire is roaring, nice and brightly, but you don't see any people. It is a very small home, and you literally have to kind of kneel down almost, even if you're floating, to be able to, get your eyes below the top of the window to peek inside. But you peek inside, you don't see anybody. It seems well furnished. It seems very comfortable and very homey, just, made for little people, and you're too tall for that. But you then kind of floating around the outside of it. That's at least as far as those lit windows. Are you going to check the ones that are unlit as well?
Yeah, and if possible, do an Arcana check to see if anything is going on magically inside.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a roll. You doing your best to feel for an arcane rill of any sort. You don't sense anything coming from anywhere nearby, even as you kind of float your way around the outside of the house. Peeking in the other windows, there's one that leads into what must be, like a master bedroom, essentially. But you peek into that, and there is, like I said, a little bit of ambient light, and there's a door that leads into that common room where the fireplace is, hence giving you some, visibility there beyond just your dark vision. There are 2 small forms laying in the bed. They appear to be asleep. They don't seem to have noticed you're floating around, and these kind of thin, wispy curtains are just not enough to really obstruct the outside. And then floating around to the last one, there's an even smaller form and a very small bed in another room.
Gotcha. So about 3 head count then.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
All right, I'm going to take this information and just kind of map out the home in my head based on what I can see, and come back to everyone and let them know what I found before they hide their kids and hide their wives.
He's what is it, jumping in our windows and snatching our people up? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they're climbing in my windows. Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husbands too.
Then you arrive back. Norok and Sarah have made it back to the house, or back to the tree by this point. Letting them know that this nearby farm. Sarah, you know that farm is the Brandy Egg Farm. So the house he's describing, he just floated over there or walked over there and started peeking in windows of the Brandy Egg family.
So now that everything's calmed down a little bit, do you want to tell me, like, who are these people and what they did to you to make us have to, murder them and bury them in a hole?
So, essentially, they would kill me and Nazim on sight.
Is it just because of the magic thing they flashed at you, the lantern thing?
Yes, because of the magic I was born with, and I don't know about Nazim, but yeah.
Were they here? when you left? Like, have they been here this entire time? But we're just murdering magic folk?
They showed up at my house in the middle of the night, and I jumped out my window, and then I got taken onto a slave ship, and that's where my story with these guys starts.
Have you guys run in, are these the people that put you on the ship? Like, these are the slave
No.
people?
No.
Oh, totally different. I mean, that seems about right, I suppose. It was a really bad day. That's a bad day.
It wasn't one day. She was in the woods hiding for a couple of days, and then was just caught by some
So,
slavers.
I thought it was
So-
the same night.
now
Was
that
it for you?
we're
Maybe.
here,
Anyway,
I think so.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like he told us, where they're stationed or where they're living at should be maybe. I mean, is this something we need to go deal with? Do you want to go handle this situation, or is this like much bigger than something that we need to get involved in?
I kind of want to know what happened to my dad first before figuring anything else out, but that would be better done in the morning.
Is your dad like you? Is he a magical halfling? Like us, I suppose.
I don't know, is my dad a magical halfling?
No. Nope.
Not at all.
No, but does he have a loud mouth like me? Would he just get himself in trouble for no reason?
I can definitively say no.
All right.
You're
Even though
a
I never
unique
fleshed that
asshole.
out, no.
All right. Well, I figured, that one guy said, not to avoid that one place, and I'm sure I have that written down somewhere. So, well, if we decide that that's something we got to deal with, maybe tomorrow we can ask around and find out their habits or their norms, and maybe get all sneaky like and maybe pick them off, or at least do enough damage quickly to where we don't have to worry about them. Do you know if they do magic? Do they have magic themselves, or do they only do like those weird metal bracelet things that they throw on your feet?
Nope, they're okay with certain types of magic, especially theirs. Others not so much.
That's fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Samson's a Juthrin too. He uses magic as well.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
I was literally about to be like, do you think Samson would like go join these people? Like, or is he a crowblinder first and a Juthrin second? What do you think? Like, do you think he's there? Maybe we should see if he's there, because he's been missing for a
I
few
would say
days.
if Samson is gone, he's probably with them. Just saying.
Well, do we know, is this like a small group, or is this like a faction that exists all over this area?
Sarah would know that they are pretty much everywhere in Pale. Pale is nearly a theocracy at this point.
All right.
They're a political faction as well in Pale now. They've grown that much in influence in this area.
Oh, so they're everywhere. Well, it's good to know. Terrifying.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go to bed. So I'll see you guys in the morning, and Sarah's just gonna roll over and go to sleep.
Okay. Everybody else?
I have a banjo if anyone would like me to play for a bit.
I'm going to sleep too. Yeah.
I'm gonna read for a bit, then sleep, because I don't need to sleep as much.
Okay. What are you reading, Fox?
Just one of the random books in the bag of holding.
Okay. Everybody else?
Would
Just
it-
going to sleep?
Would it bother anyone if I practiced backflips?
Yeah, I'll just fill everybody in on the information I gathered from the home and kind of take a nap.
Okay. Sarah, you hear honestly a little bit creepy reconnaissance of the brandy egg farm, of peeking in windows and seeing what you imagine must be the family and their kid, peeking through the windows of their house. But no magic. That's good to know, right?
They're just farmers. They're fine. You just leave them alone.
But you never know.
Oh, but I do.
Do the farmers have a daughter, or is it like is it
no.
like a younger,
No.
like maybe
No.
early 20s? No, all right, just
No.
Early 20s for a halfling is still very much like.
Well, I think
that's like
Pogo's
eight.
only. I think Pogo's only like 34, 35. He's not. He's not that old.
All right, but he's 34, 35 in human equivalent. Halflings live a little longer.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, everybody going to sleep then?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
lay
curl
there
up.
with her eyes.
Do what?
Go ahead.
Sarah's
Becca.
good.
Oh, I'm just gonna curl up next to Norok.
Okay.
All right, and I'm just gonna lay there with my eyes closed and just twirl the ring. Don't know how much sleep I'm going to get, so it's up to you whether I have exhaustion or not.
Make a Constitution check.
Check or save?
Yeah, probably save, I guess.
I was just looking at player character stuff, and I was like, I wonder if Griffin's in here. And I saw Pinocchio, and I'm like, oh.
Stop getting him killed. that little bloody thorn thing hates you. By the time morning comes, Sarah, you still feel like you got enough rest. It's probably a little bit rough. You know, you probably need a little extra coffee in the morning to get moving. But apart from that, you feel like you're okay. You know, it's more of an emotional toll than a physical one at this point. But morning comes, storm is still, you know, the rain didn't let up one bit. It's still windy, still misty and foggy. Just a awful weather out. But it is, you know, morning time, and the sky is kind of the pale gray of the sun trying to shine through these clouds. Go ahead and apply long rests, everybody. And Sako, how you do that is on the main page, on your main character sheet page. In the top middle of it, you see where your hit points are. To the right of that, it says hit dice. And below the hit dice, you see S rest and L rest. Click on L rest. And then you'll have, there you go. Yep. And that will automatically refresh your abilities that you need a long rest for, as well as the short rest ones will apply then too.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Everybody wakes up. You know, like I said, it's still kind of rain plinking against the dome and rolling down the outside of it, kind of windshield-like, watching the rain speck against it and roll down. But mornings come. Nobody appears to be, you know, looking out through it. You guys can see outside, and it seems fine. Nobody seems to have noticed your treehouse, as far as you can tell.
Ooh, man, this weather here is just not great today.
It's fine. It's just rain.
I'm going to climb halfway down the tree, and then I'm going to just be like, watch this, guys, and then I'm going to backflip for the other, like, 10 feet.
In your elven... Yeah, definitely. Especially backflipping off of the tree in your armor.
10 feet up, yep, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but you're 4 feet tall, or 3 feet tall.
Yep.
10 feet down is a long way. 3 times your height that you've got to make it down and not, you know, land on your ass or something. So acrobatics.
So disadvantage?
Check. Yep, disadvantage acrobatics, especially because it's rainy and the, you know, steps are wet.
Break your ass.
I'm just gonna start doing stupid shit, just enjoying it. I might hurt myself a little bit, but not. It's gonna be hard to do it terribly.
For real, I'm looking forward to the broken ankle.
Yeah, one of them.
You know what's funny about that? He got a 2. If he'd gotten a 1, he would have gotten to re-roll because of the anyways, right?
2 is actually the worst thing.
So the 2 is the worst he could do, and he still got a 14. So the worst he could possibly do essentially is a 14. You know, unless he gets 2 1s in a row, basically. But you see him staring out through the dome. You see his face disappear off the edge of the tree.
By the way, that's why I did it from halfway. I'm not gonna do it for the full thing. Halfway.
Yeah, not all the way from the top, because that's a broken neck just waiting to happen, right? But you backflip through it, like feet almost kicking back into the dome for just a brief moment as you kind of flip your way backwards and then down into the mud. Almost slip for just a brief second, but you manage to catch yourself before the foot even kind of kicks out from under you. Doubt anybody even notices.
Not bad, not bad. That's how I wake up in the morning. Better than a cup of coffee like that. Whew.
So what are y'all doing?
I'm gonna mentally, while Peter's still up at the tree, I'm gonna mentally ask him if he saw anything interesting last night.
You hear a reply that one of your friends walked by and went over to the house over there and kept peering in windows, and that it was very concerning at first, and then he came back, so he didn't bother alerting you.
Good boy, Peter.
When you said Peter at first, I thought he was talking to Sako, and I was like, why didn't Sako?
Oh
answer?
shit! I didn't even
You
think
know,
about that.
That's
Yeah,
what I
Sako-
thought for a second, but no, he was talking about.
Sako's character in the old campaign was Peter, so I hadn't even
right.
thought about that. Yeah, when you say Peter, that's gonna to Ben and Becky is gonna sound like you're referring to his old character.
Every time
Which-
you say Peter, I flinch.
Which, by the way, that character still exists. I don't know if Sako, do you remember what your character became and everything? Because that's important, like setting stuff. You're the only one that I would. Well, all of you would technically know because of the vast erudition. But do you remember Sako?
Vaguely, yes. I'd have to go through my notes.
Okay.
Would you
All right.
like become the moon? Is that what's going on?
Well, the white moon is still. Oh, in fact, actually, let me go ahead and point this out too, because I don't know if Sako remembers this. At the end of Balance, when you guys destroyed the moon, the pieces of it are a ring around this planet now. It basically, the bits of the broken moon have become this kind of like a Saturn ring, essentially around the planet. Those pieces are called the tears of the moon, just giant chunks of rock of the white moon that you guys split into bits when you destroyed it. And so there's these giant floating chunks of white rock that during the day the sun glitters against that just kind of surround it, and some of them kind of float off in the distance. And you guys have just begun to hear reports occasionally of them kind of falling out of orbit and crashing into places on the planet. Anyways,
Cool.
okay. So what are you guys doing?
So Sarah did not check her scroll last night, so she will check it this morning.
Okay. There is no new response since the short conversation that you had with him yesterday.
Okay.
That's still there. So, actually, never mind. You read it at that time, so it would have disappeared. So it's actually still blank. Okay. All right. Everybody
I am
is
going to remake myself look like that woman from the evening before.
okay.
And I'm going to tell Peter to keep his distance flying around, like and going on treetops. And I want him to stay like he doesn't really know us, but keep an eye on us in case anything bad happens. To fly down if something bad happens.
You give me an animal handling check.
Sure. Do.
Actually, that, and then also give me a perception check.
Do.
Okay, natural 20. All right.
Yay.
Two things. The animal handling, you get a sense from him that he is begrudgingly willing to follow orders, of course, but he really does not want to. He does not want to go flying out in the rain. He seems very hesitant to do it specifically. As for the perception, when you get that sense from him, like he basically, he kind of prepares to kind of stretch his wings out and he stands up and starts to kind of get ready to lift off. But he definitely seems like he's doing it hesitantly, like he doesn't want to. He's just doing it because he's being told to. But with the perception check, when you get that sense from him, you start looking around to see why that might be. Why might he not want to go, flying
There
around?
aren't any fucking trees.
There are no trees, and you look around. There are occasional copses of trees, but there's no forest or anything nearby, no mountains nearby, and more importantly, looking up, you see 0 birds in the sky. It's raining. Birds don't like going flying out in the rain generally anyways. They'll like technically during the rain you almost never see that many birds because it's more awkward for them to fly when they don't have drafts and so on with wind and that kind of thing for them to fight against. So looking around, you just don't see any birds around, and for him to go flying up around means it's going to be very obvious for him because he's very large, and there certainly are not any even regular birds, let alone griffin-sized birds flying around. But he's already kind of, thrown his wings against the sides of the tree. You see the tree kind of shimmer away from all the leaves with the blast of wind, and he lifts off and starts kind of, throwing his wings down as hard as he can to get himself some height, and then starts to take off and fly around.
If I see them
Apparent-
take off to fly, I'm just gonna yell at Pogo, "Don't take too long. We have to go."
Oh no,
back
I'm
to
not
the
doing it. I'm just having him fly around.
He's sending
Oh,
Peter
I
by
thought you
himself.
were climbing on him.
Nope. Not, I put a saddle on him. He's all settled and ready, but I don't want us to walk up to your parents' house with this beast, following us. And I feel like he's going to attract a lot of attention.
Yeah, people aren't gonna like a big ass griffin because we're small.
Yeah.
For real, halflings are griffin food. Like, for
Yeah.
real. So, like, if a griffin can find a halfling, that's probably, especially if it's, by himself and not, armed, that's food. They're dog-sized. They'll definitely eat dogs.
Good little snack.
It's probably not even like a whole day's amount of food. It's like
Did you guys-
they'll need 2 or 3 halflings to for enough
fun-sized
meal
Snicker.
for the day.
Speaking of griffins, did you guys know that if a griffin falls in love with a horse, they make a hippogriff?
I mean, I don't know if that's actually how that works, but yes.
That's true. And they
Yeah.
mate for life. I mean, not this one. This one's just a spirit guy, but still. I saw that on the Reading Rainbow Faerun edition.
Favorite edition.
Sure.
My, how LeVar Burton has fallen.
All right, what are you guys doing?
We're going to check on your parents, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna
let's go check on your parents. I can tell them about the apple tree.
Right. Maybe you should just not talk. I'm going to cast disguise self. I mean, they're obviously going to tell that you're not. Fuck, what was her name? I have it written down.
Gin Leaf.
Ginleaf. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're going to know that you're not her.
Why? I mean, is it that obvious?
I mean,
I'll tell you, Sarah, that his voice is way off.
yeah, as someone who knows her, it's not. No. Maybe just tell them you have a cold or something. So I'm going to cast Disguise Self just to look like a nondescript halfling, just so
Okay.
I'm not myself.
Okay. All right, and then you guys are all heading to Sarah's house.
Nobody else.
Maybe
but
Norok, you
will
should.
fit, right?
Well,
Norok,
going
can't you
to
make yourself invisible for a while when we get close, so you're not, like looking like the way you do.
Yeah, might be a good idea. They might think I'm coming.
I'm like almost positive he can do that.
Well, he can't. I mean, he can't just make himself invisible.
I can't do it.
Doesn't he
myself.
have? He doesn't have a thing.
He has to attune it.
Oh, you should attune that thing. Here, hold on. I'll make you invisible since you didn't do that. We'll go ahead and once we get, at least once we get close to the house, within like obvious eyesight, I'll go ahead and cast invisibility
Okay.
on Norok.
Go ahead.
Do you think I should do that, guys? Do you want me to? We don't want him walking around looking the way he does, right?
No, I'm assuming that I've got like a backyard or something to this house.
Yeah, I mean, it's a farm.
I've got a
You
makeup
have- you have-
kit.
yeah, I mean, you can.
Just add some makeup, make it look like a person.
Make him halfling makeup, except he's 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Perfect.
2.5 halflings size.
Just use the makeup to make it look like there's 3 halflings in a trench coat.
But yeah, there is a it's a small farm. The size of the farms, or he's the mayor. He probably isn't actually really doing much actual farming, but it is a farmhouse with with the appropriate land behind it.
Right. And I'm assuming that the house is bigger than Norok, so like if he stood behind it, no one would see him.
Yeah, I mean, because where your room is the second story, like that part of it, it's still that's probably only 15 feet tall, even though it's 2 stories. But it's definitely tall enough to obscure him if he stands behind it. Yes.
Right. So we can just put him back behind the house and he can just stay there. I'm actually even Arteme won't fit in the house, will she?
Correct. Yeah. Even Arteme nor Nazim will fit inside
Yeah.
without being
so,
bent over in half.
I mean, like Nazim and Norok could stay outside if Arteme wants to be, I don't know, like Sai, she can come in with us. But
Sure.
Sit out in the rain.
Action roll for Peter
True
Griffin
nature
right
calls
now.
me creepy.
Roll for what? Oh, invisibility. Okay.
No, that's I don't know why they did that. That was actually for perception roll for Peter Griffin.
Oh,
I don't know why. Maybe I still had invisibility checked on here.
looks like it. Yeah. All right, an 18.
I'll do that.
What's the Griffin's wisdom?
No idea. I was looking.
I have
That's
it
what I
in
was looking
stats.
earlier.
It's
I can
it's in the
look that
stats. Oh, well, I have it. It's in here. It's wisdom is +1
Okay.
for the Griffin.
I'll have that-
I should.
I'll have
I'm
that
sorry.
later.
I thought I gave it to you. Hang on. If I did not, all right. Let me give you ownership of that
Oh, cool.
in the player
Nice.
character stuff. There you go.
Ta-da. Perfect.
You'll have that in there for rolling stats from him if you needed to and everything. Him flying around though, you haven't heard anything from him. You do occasionally catch a glimpse of him dipping through clouds. He's up high enough that it's kind of hard to get a decent eye shot of him, but you do occasionally spot him through the clouds. But he hasn't said anything. He hasn't alerted you, so seems to be fine. But the group, you kind of give the town itself, the little town of Dunfield, a wide berth, and going around the outside and then kind of approaching Sarah's homestead from the back. Nazim and Norok hanging out behind the house. Are you actually going to still use invisibility then, Pogo?
No, not if the.
Okay. All right.
No, just I guess go hang out behind the house.
Okay. Go ahead and give your spell slot back then if you're going to. If you assume that consumed it. Okay. All right. And then Pogo, Arteme, and Sarah going to the front of the house.
Yeah.
I don't have a key to my house, right?
Just go bang on the door. Pop, pop.
I'll try it. I'll head to the front. Knock on the door.
Okay. Then you going around the outside of it, Nazim and Norok left behind. There aren't any windows in the back of the house, at least not in the area that you guys are in. There's one further away, but the kind of the two-story part of it, where the height area is that Norok can hide behind, is far enough that. Oh, that's good to know, Justin.
I'm just
you have your set to private rolls, right?
Oops, my bad.
No, it doesn't matter. Just making sure you knew it. Anyways, the area that you guys are in, there's no window there or anything like that. You don't have to worry about trying to hide from it. But as far as Sarah, Nazim, and Arteme, all three of you give me a stealth check.
Disregard it.
Okay.
It's something different. Oops.
Right.
Nope. Don't want to do that.
Okay. Still owes 13, so the group stealth check average. You approaching around the outside. Arteme, did you wild shape?
Yeah.
Into what?
The fox.
Okay. All right.
But I can't seem to, put it on.
I can do it for you.
Thank you.
In your wild shapes. Fox. There you go.
Thank you.
Yep. You guys walking around the outside. Sarah, you immediately notice that, of course, the you pass what is normally your parents' bedroom, and the curtains are pulled shut, and they are black. They're like dark curtains, and that's not normal. That's not what was there when you were here in... right now, by the way, you guys are at the end of September, essentially, and it was July when... I think it was the end of July when you guys... Or when you left, basically, as far as the equivalent. It was Sable Soul. But anyways, you going around the outside, the curtains are different, and they are drawn, very dark. But you make your way around the outside. Nazim, you in your farmer's form, you can see easily through the windows from this distance, and they're just dark, of course. Making your way around the front, you pass another window. This would be your father's office, this study, and windows also drawn, or the curtains also drawn, and you make your way around to the front door, and you try the doorknob, and it is not locked.
I'm just walking in.
Okay. And by the way, you did see that Pogo had tried the doorknob last night, and it was locked at that point. So
your father doesn't, have a crossbow or anything. He's gonna shoot at you as you walk in. I've been to some places where you might not want to just walk in.
It's fine, and if the yard looks like this, then my father isn't here, so the only thing you have to worry about is Rosanna, so it's fine.
Well,
you
does
taking
she
everybody
have a
inside?
crossbow?
What'd Pogo say?
Does she have a crossbow or anything?
No, she's fine. I'll take Pogo and Arteme in, and as soon as I close the door, I'm dropping Disguise Self.
Okay. All right. Then you walk in, dripping everywhere. The inside of the common room is dark. There is no fire in the fireplace. All of you can see that there's a flickering of candlelight coming from around a corner where your father's study is, his office. So there's flickering of candlelight coming from in there. But other than that, it looks dusty and unkempt, like it hasn't been, kept up at all. Your father definitely would have, if he were around, this is not the kind of shape he would leave the place in. Rosanna has never been much for, housekeeping anyway, so you're not too surprised, but this is just more evidence that he's probably not here. But you don't see anybody, and the room is empty and dark.
Just wait here for a second, guys. I'm gonna go around the corner and see what's in his study.
Okay. You make your way around the corner, and the door is open, leading into his study. And you can see through the doorway there. The study is emptied out. It was wall to wall books. In fact, this is where you got your love of books. Really, was just kind of reading with everything that he had on his shelves, and they're all gone. And sitting on his desk, where the flickering candle is, where the light's coming from, this flickering candle, there's a single book laid open on the book or on the table there, kind of at an angle with a chair rotated to the side. Clearly, somebody had just been sitting in that chair and reading from this book is what it looks like. And the book that's laid open, by the style of the text, you can tell almost immediately, because it's a very common sight around here, especially these days, that this is a copy of what's called the Proofs of the Maker, which is the religious text that is often quoted by the zealots like the Juthrans and other human faiths, including the Juthrans, but other religions, basically. That's what it looks like. It looks like a Bible, essentially.
And this was never a book that my father had, right?
For sure not.
Yeah. I'm going to very quietly back out of the room.
Okay, so you stepped inside then. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Then give me a dex save.
Oh, damn it.
I didn't realize, sorry, that you had stepped inside the room. All right. As you've stepped in through the threshold towards the desk where the book is, you hear a whoosh behind you and immediately spin just out of the place that you had been standing, bumping the chair and knocking it against the table and knocking the candle over onto the desk. You spin around and see Rosanna standing there, and her eyes go wide and her jaw drops, and you look over and what she had thrown like a coat. Not a candelabra, what it was, a coat rack kind of a thing, like a stand with hooks on it, basically. Had thrown that in your direction, smashed the door, and fell down. You're easily able to kind of reach over and grab the candle, but there you are standing in this tiny room with your mother, her obviously shocked and surprised. It does not appear that she did this intentionally.
I'm going to run around the corner, too, hearing this. Is everything all right, everybody? Is everything okay in here? I've got a cold. Apologize. I don't want to cough on anybody.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Hi, Mother.
Sarah, what are you doing here? Have you not taken enough from me already?
Where is Dad?
They took him because of you. What are you doing here? And who are these strangers you've brought into my house?
I'm not a stranger. We've known each other for years.
You see her lean. You couldn't see her, Pogo, at this point. You couldn't see her. She was kind of inside the doorway. It was clear that she was ambushing who she thought was an intruder. She didn't realize it was Sarah, is the impression that you get from the situation. But you see a middle-aged halfling woman, blonde hair kind of tied back in braids, kind of the picture that you see there, peek around the corner looking at you. And then she kind of squints like angrily, and her mouth tightens, and then she stands back up and looks back at Sarah. And why does your friend look like Miss Ginleaf?
It's fine. Just, Pogo, just drop it. It's fine.
Ginleaf, sit down. All right. And then I'm just going to drop it and just go back to my dazzlingly handsome self.
She kind of throws her hands down in frustration. She's no longer looking at Pogo. She stood back up, so Pogo, you can't see her again at this point. Pogo's just kind of staring in through the doorway at Sarah. But she looks at you just with anger and frustration, brows furrowed. I tried, Sarah. I tried so hard to make you stop with all this filthy witchcraft, and now my poor Tarver is rotting in some cell for the rest of his life because of your indefensible nonsense. What do you want?
I'm going to go see if there's any snacks in the house.
Arteme, are you still in the common room?
But I'm going to do it. I'm going to find snacks, but I'm going to do it stealthily.
Okay, roll a stealth check. All right. You don't hear Pogo walk off to go raid your fridge as you have this awkward conversation with your mother.
These are friends of mine, and it's not like I asked for this magic. I mean, I was kind of born with it. There wasn't a whole lot I could do about that.
You could have hidden it like my family did, and you chose not to. You flaunted it at all of us. You knew better.
Where did they take Dad?
Her features soften a little bit, and it's clear that she's clearly very upset by this. She's not faking the anger about this, or the sadness about this is the impression you get. I would say that's below your passive, being able to read your mother's emotions. I don't know. They came for him looking for you, and because nobody would say where you went, they thought we were hiding you, and they took him. And I don't know where they took him.
Did they say anything when they took him?
They said he was wanted for questioning, and it's your fault. He's gone, and it's your fault.
It's my fault.
I would say because of where this study is, Nazim and Norok, you guys could probably overhear bits and pieces of this conversation. Just keep that in mind. Because the window's right around the corner from where you're at.
Have you heard anything from any of them since they took Dad?
She shakes her head, won't look at you, like she's trying to avoid your gaze.
Yeah, I'm inside. Check that shit.
Go ahead. What are Norok and Nazim doing? Just standing in the rain?
Yeah.
Any conversation?
I'm gonna use one of my things and re-roll.
What things?
Dice.
The wizard thing that I got when I leveled up.
Which thing?
The one that allows me to the chronal shift.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Shit, you just got that too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you actually used it once, I think, already. So
I used
this is a
it
good
during
use
the
for it.
last battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is that? Which one is that? That is
It's under features.
chronal shift. There it is. Okay.
Active ability. Yeah,
I just clicked it.
marked it off.
Okay. Here, I want to click that too. That is a very cool ability. All right. Sako, that might stand out a little bit for you there. The reason that I asked if you remembered who your character was, what he became, because of that right there, which is why I wanted to check that. So, anyways, then with your re-rolled, she definitely knows more than she's saying for sure.
Look, we don't have time for pleasantries. I understand that you're mad at me and that you're not happy, and I get that, and I know it's my fault. I just want to get Dad back, so anything you can tell me about where he is would be great right now.
Have I found any food yet?
The house, despite it being a little bit dusty and unkempt, like basically the place hasn't been cleaned in, you would estimate, probably about 6 weeks. Like any kind of upkeep whatsoever, but there's food everywhere, like edible food. Like she's still, bringing in food, it seems.
Okay.
But you easily find some fresh apples, surprisingly.
Hearing this conversation come out, I'm just going to walk back in with an apple, and I would like to also be part of this conversation now. And I'm just going to walk in with my voice filled with apple. Listen, lady, you're going to tell us where. You're going to tell us where. This is a good apple. This is good. You're going to tell us where he is, and you're going to tell us where he is now. and we're not leaving here without that information. As I spit apple chunks.
Still looking like Miss Ginleaf as well, of course.
Yep.
She looks at.
Oh wait, no, I dropped
Oh, that's
it,
right.
so
You
I
dropped.
just
Okay.
look like
Okay.
me.
Okay. I don't like your friends, Sarah.
Half the time I don't like them either, but they're my friends, so it's fine.
Eat all your apples. If you don't,
No. Threatening her isn't gonna work. It's just.
I want to save the father too.
With that insight check that you made, I'm going to tell you that when you mention trying to save him, there is just a very brief and very subtle glimmer, like a short flash of what looks like probably hope, and then immediately it is dimmed again by her being just angry. And she.
Yeah. I'm just going to push Pogo out the door and close the door so I can have a private conversation with her.
There isn't a door into the study. There's a
I
doorway,
thought
but no
there-
actual door.
All right.
You
Mom?
walk through the doorway, but there's no actual door in it. It's like, think of it like an arch, like a halfling arch.
Okay. We need to go somewhere where we can have a private discussion.
This is my house.
That's fine. Pogo, Arteme, will you
You're not
guys...
gonna have any apples in your house in a few
Oh my-
minutes. We don't
Nope.
tell
Just
us where.
go in the kitchen, please. That would be great.
I begrudgingly walk into the kitchen.
I'll just follow, but I'm
Okay.
gonna keep an ear out to make sure Sarah's fine.
The house is so small that you, especially in fox form, can hear every single word. In fact, I would say that because of keen senses, you're easily able to pick up on the emotional cues as well. Artemis probably getting a very clear record of this conversation. And where Nazim and Norok are getting bits and pieces here and there. Which, speaking of this real quick, we're going to jump over to them. Nazim and Norok, you guys standing outside in the rain, just getting pelted, hearing bits and pieces of Sarah arguing with what you presume to be her mother. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna go find a window to look in. It's like
I'm
a
just gonna
giant
go
dollhouse.
float
I
around.
just want to get it.
What, Sako?
I'm just gonna float around into the front door and just get out of the rain and just stay in the doorway.
Okay. The door.
myself.
So you float your that direction. Then Norok, you
Squat down.
well, as you are floating that direction, you see Norok walk around the corner, no longer at the back of the house, and then like squishes himself down, like literally sitting knees crossed in the mud. You know, like sitting crisscross applesauce. That's how fucking people say it. Hate that. That fucking drives me nuts. Just sitting cross-legged in the mud to be able to look through a window with the curtains drawn, not able to see a damn thing, but staring into curtain-drawn windows, but now able to easily hear the conversation because you're on the other side of the window of the study. Nazim, then you float around to the front of the house and kind of, awkwardly kind of bend down to get under the awning to kind of get yourself out of the rain a little bit. Now also able to probably hear most of the conversation, especially because it's at elevated volumes through this little halfling door. All right, then we'll jump back over to Sarah.
Right. So knowing that they're just in the kitchen and assuming the guys are in the back of the house, she's going to drag her to the farthest corner away from everyone
Okay.
and whisper as quietly as she can, I just want you to tell me everything you know about where they took Dad. And I promise you that I will do everything I can to get him back, even if that means turning myself in for him.
You pull her into the common room, which is, would be the furthest corner, basically right on the other side of the door of where Nazim is now standing. But not knowing that he's there, you kind of, follow into the other common room there. And now Norak staring at an empty window that the conversation has also stopped from. But you, in saying this to her, she kind of flicks her eyes back up to look at you, for the first time since kind of getting angry and stopping this, halting the conversation, really. I don't know for sure where they would have taken him, but my best guess is that he's at the cathedral. I mean, that's where they tend to take people, at least that's the rumors are, and the few that get out, that's where they say they were gone to. So he's probably there. I mean, Sarah, it's in your own best interest. It is what you should have done from the start is just gone with them and let them get it out of you. This seed that's in you that it is poisoning who you are. You're not my little girl anymore. You're whatever this witchery has done to you.
Yeah, well, I got news for you, Mom. If they get a hold of me, I'm not going to be your little girl anymore either, because I'll be dead. But if it means getting...
Don't say that. They don't kill people. They heal people. They help people.
They will burn me at the stake. For the
They will do
magic
no
that
such
I
thing,
work
and I will not have you bashing their good name in my house, Sarah.
Did they give you any kind of contact information for if I came back? Or of how to get a hold of them, if you found me?
I know the adjunct, and I've talked with him before, and he's who I'm supposed to reach out to.
Does that sound familiar?
Yep.
That would have been The guy that we just murdered, I believe.
No, that's the avatar. That was an avatar. So those are all ranks. Avatar is a rank. Pacifier is a rank. The adjunct is the leader of the Inquisition in this area. He's basically a high-ranking member of the church. And adjunct Cope is the one that was in the bright red armor that came to your house in the first place when you jumped out the window and ran. Ketis, Ben's old character, also had a run-in with adjunct Cope. 6 months. No, be longer ago at this point. But yeah, anyways, a while ago.
Where is he staying? How are you supposed to get a hold of him?
Letters. Any of the Juthrins around here, I let them know that I need to communicate with them and send a letter, and they bring it back.
Okay.
Give me an insight check here, just Sarah.
All right. And I have a DM question. Do I know where the cathedral is?
Yeah, it's a huge facility northeast of town.
Fucking son of a... I'm going to use it again.
Okay. You use your last chronal shift for the day?
Yep.
You get 2, right? Okay.
I know. God damn it.
You still, I'll tell you that you feel like there's something she's not saying here, but you can't quite, put it together. Something feels off.
When was the last time you talked to him?
2 months ago?
What have you been doing in this house by yourself without Dad?
Waiting for him to come home. Reading, praying for him to come home.
And they didn't tell you anything about when they would release him? I mean, it's not like he knew where I went.
Well, they don't know that. I tried telling them. They wouldn't listen to me either. She hesitates for a moment. I was glad you were gone. I'm happy you're okay, but I can't have you in my home when you're still subscribing to this devilry.
Yeah, I know. Did I ask where the Cathedral of Riches was? Just does Sarah know?
You said riches? You mean righteousness?
Or righteousness? Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're not a church
read
of
it wrong.
greed. You're fine. No, you know where the cathedral is. The cathedral is huge. It's northeast of town. On the main map, it's a massive facility. It's basically a town in itself, like a good-sized town. It's much larger than Dunfield, for that matter. But you can see it on the map of Pale. Although I don't think I gave you guys a map except for the one at the start. So I'll switch us back there once you're leaving in the house here.
Right.
If you can get him back, Sarah, and you go just let them help you, stop fighting tooth and nail everything. There's some people that want it, I know you don't believe me, but I've had your best interest at heart for your whole life. And they do too. Just let them help you and then you can come home and get rid of these obnoxious friends of yours and their dog. She's obviously referring to Arteme that she saw a little fox walk by.
Yeah, she's not actually a dog.
Fox, whatever.
Man, so
Yeah.
sad I'm not in the room.
It's just how she fits in the house. Look,
She scowls. She looks very angry that you brought, a tall folk into her house.
yeah, at this point, I don't really care. Look, I'm going to do everything I can to get him back, but I need you to give me 24 hours to get out of town before you tell them that you saw me. And I ask that you not tell them that I'm going to try and get Dad out. Because if worse comes to worse, I'll turn myself in. If not, and it works out in my favor, Dad will be home before you know it, and you guys should just leave. If Dad comes home, you should just leave.
Her mouth is tight, her brows are furrowed, and she nods.
Insight check.
Go ahead.
I think this is the most insight checks I've ever done on anyone.
You don't trust her.
Great seeing you, Rosanna. We're gonna go now. And I'm gonna just walk out. Come on, guys, we're getting the fuck out of here.
All right. You say that to Pogo and Sarah in the other room, walking away from Rosanna without really, giving her another look. You walk to the front door and open it and see Nazim hunched over, kind of head almost upside down, hunched over, like looking at the door, like face kind of like sloughing off to the wrong side because his head's almost upside down because he has to turn over. With the flesh loose, it's just kind of hanging the wrong direction. Nazim?
I'm just going to make a hand gesture as if he's saying, come outside.
That's kind of creepy. It's time to go, guys.
Yeah, I'll just follow.
All right. Well, it was nice meeting you, Sarah's mom. And these are great apples. Sorry I yelled at you. Things got a little tense. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. And
Yeah, the door's open.
You don't have to apologize. It's fine. Let's go.
no, okay, just I'm gonna after I leave. We'll be back. See you later.
Don't
wink at her. Like, you have a good one. You have a good one.
Don't come back. Just save the effort. Don't come back.
I'm gonna take a big old bite of the apple as I look her in the eye and just walk out.
There was a sack of apples that you had taken that one out of. There were probably a dozen or so in there. Is that sack remaining where it was?
Yeah. I just ate a couple apples.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure if you were trying to loot the food out of there or not, but all right.
By the way, Sarah would be fine with that.
All right. Then you guys make your way out of Sarah's house. Don't see Norok around. You walk out the front with Nazim. Close the door.
Wow, he's really good at hiding for how big he is.
Yep, I'm going to walk around to the back. Just find Norok.
Okay.
There he is.
You see the 8-foot-tall Yogg sitting cross-legged, staring at a window, getting pelted by the rain.
He says, it's time to go, big guy.
Your mom wouldn't happen to know where we could trade these gold bars in, right? Like maybe a structured settlement. We need gold now.
We buy gold.
JG Filkers.
We can
JG
talk about
Wentworth.
this.
100 cash now.
JG
My money,
Wentworth is.
and I want it now.
Yeah, Fox won't get that, but all the rest of us have lived. Ben and Becky. Well, actually, Becky hasn't lived here, but the rest of us know JG Wentworth fucking
We
commercials at
need
least.
I've
gold
seen the
now.
Have you?
I'm completely lost.
It's a local commercial to Northern California that all of us except for Becky have lived in. So all of us recognize these obnoxious fucking local commercial from all the way through the 90s, probably early 2000s or so. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right,
It's funny because
so-
it's literally like a really shitty, annoying local commercial. Like, there's no reason that any of us should know that, but they were so annoying that we remember a 30-year-old commercial.
Yeah. Are you in a structured settlement but need money now? Call JG Wentworth. I need money
Your money.
now. Yeah, it's your money.
1877 cash now.
They were the ones with the opera singers on the bus, right?
Yeah, they
So-
had the banners all over the place on benches and shit. Yeah, that's the
Well, no, I
Max
mean
from.
The commercial had the opera singers on the bus.
Oh yeah, there was a song
Yeah.
one. Yeah. 877 cash now.
Yep.
That sounds very weird.
It was.
Tell
it
me
was
if I
real
ever
bad.
have a structured settlement. They're the first
All right,
people
so
I'm calling.
What are we doing, everyone? What's how's
We need to get as far away from this house as we can, and we will talk when we're far enough away.
all right?
That's the
So-
Max, isn't it, Sako?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was an awesome cartoon.
So I know, growing up here, back ways to wherever the hell, I'm just going to pick a random back direction
Okay.
and just start walking. And once we're like, I don't know, 300 feet from the house, then we can talk.
Okay. All right. Then you basically start heading northeast. Then in the direction of the city. The city itself is surrounded by walls, but there are kind of houses all around it. They get more and more dense as you get close to the city.
And
But
the
that's
city-
enough time to get out of the farm. What's that?
Can I? If we're within like range of the city, I would like to send Peter like close enough to get see what he can see at the front to see if around these gates if there's any of these Juthrans in that white and red are with the metallic armor with the white and red dressing around them.
Okay.
because I can control them up to a mile. So I want to send them kind of a little further ahead to check that.
Okay, you're about a mile or so from town, or from the city rather. So within that distance, anyways, you're just sending them on patrol specifically looking for any of the Juthrans.
Yeah, to see if they are like at the town's gates or around the edge of town or anywhere between us and the town.
Okay. I need to look at this spell real quick for something. I'm not sure if he can telepathically communicate with you. I know he can,
For up to a mile.
but he can't talk is the thing, right?
No, he can talk. He automatically
Oh, I mean, like
has
telepathically
a
communicate
intelligence
with
of-
you. Yeah, but
Also, somehow I accidentally deleted all my skills except for perception on his thing. I don't know how I did it, but I still got perception, so it's good.
Okay.
enough.
Well, you can still roll the others anyways. You may not have the other skills.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of adding proficiency anyways.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
When it's with 1 mile, you can communicate with it telepathically. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Then in that case, he's flying. You send him, out in that direction. You just tell him to start flying out towards the city, looking for any Juthrans. And he's just out of visual range, as soon as he's back into the clouds again, before you get a response. They're surrounding the city. They're everywhere.
Guys, we gotta stop.
I see glints
stop.
of armor all over the place.
There's like those Druthran guys are like all around that city.
And then, he's further away. You're saying this, and then 30 seconds later, oh, they're all over in the city as well.
Oh, they're in the city too, guys. What are we gonna do? We gotta get our gold somewhere, and they're all in the city. All right, I'm gonna tell them to come back. I'm gonna tell them to fly high and come back to us, and still stay
Okay.
above the trees and everything.
Well, no.
Okay.
Tell him to find the place that has the least amount of Juthrans.
What-
Because that's
I
what
don't
we're
know.
gonna
If,
have to do.
all right,
Look.
I'm gonna telepathically tell them to fly around the city as and like try not to be too awkward and suspicious. Do you see any areas that are not, that don't have these guys in the armor and the red and white on them?
He says, I'll find out. I'll see what I can see. I don't see any areas right now that would be safe to go into, so I'll fly further. I probably won't be able to tell you, so I'll come back and let you know.
Right, now this city is not the city where the cathedral is.
Correct. This is the capital. This is Eifelstead. Ketis was here for a long time. In fact, actually, if you guys scroll up, or if you zoom out, the far northeast, the little village that's up in the foresty area, that's Auburn up there. That's where Ketis was, where Ketis was seated at the end of, during the Stolen Century in Balance. But anyways,
That gear thing over there.
yeah, up to the northeast there. Those gears are towers. Those are like watchtowers,
Yeah.
essentially. But yeah, anyways, the cathedral is in the center of the map, and Eifelstead is where Sarah's little token still is on the map.
Right. So, if we're going to do this, I mean, we have to sell our stuff. So, if you guys want to sell stuff, I would recommend that Pogo and Arteme go into town,
I also need to pick up some things too.
and the rest of us just give them a list and money of things that we need to get. Because the rest of us, I mean, Norok would probably be fine, right? DM question, Norok would be fine in town?
It'd be iffy. The Og are
Right.
very rare down here, and usually when they're seen, it would be with fear. It would be trepidation. They're seen as
Right.
savages and berserkers.
So the rest of us should stay somewhere safe and send the other two in. I mean,
Sure,
if
why
you guys
not?
really want to.
Well, here, do we can
We're
someone
gonna have to go somewhere else.
can someone say exactly what that lantern thing did? Because what if they shine one on me and they like I won't use my hat, so I won't be using my hat. But what if they just see that I have it, and that they know it's some sort of magical thing, or they can see like that I'm carrying things? Or what if they can just see that I have magical abilities?
Okay, since we looted everything, can we try using the lantern? See how it works?
You haven't tried to identify it yet.
Right.
Or
Can we
a
just
couple
try
other
to
things,
use
yeah.
it?
I'll,
Here, I'm
I'll
just gonna-
give it
just-
to
here, use it on me.
Sarah
Just
to. Well,
go ahead,
sure.
just point it at me.
Do I have to light it?
I don't know. Look at it. Is it?
You grab the lantern and look inside, and where a candle would normally sit inside of the lantern, and then you'd have what's called a hood over it, there is just a small gem inside. There's no candle. There's nothing to light.
Just aim it toward me. What do you see? Does it look weird? Do I look weird, guys? Speaking of do I look weird, do I have that little fucking thing still flying around my head?
Yes. And in fact, when it's pointed at you, Arteme, you kind of aim the lantern where the hood would be, the direction that the lantern would normally be aiming light. There's no light coming out, but when you aim it towards Pogo, you kind of, point it over his feet and start to lift it up towards his head, and nothing, and then as soon as it gets over his head, the gem flares up, and you can see visibly. You were able to kind of discern that the pixie was there because of being able to see Faye anyway. But when the lantern is up at his head, you can see a little glinting pixie kind of flapping her wings and floating around his head, looking very angry and very irritated, and getting pelted occasionally with rain that hits her wings and knocks her down, and she kind of has to right herself and start flapping around again.
Why doesn't she just land on his shoulder at this point then?
You don't know. She just looks very angry.
So do I look normal? What if I do this? And I'm going to use the
Pogo, you did
disguise
see
to
the
turn myself
gem
into a lady.
when the gem, or when she lifted the lantern up towards your head. You see the gem and the lantern flare up, so you did see that react.
Okay.
Can I tell what kind of magic he has?
It doesn't
Fairy?
seem to be responding to anything except for the fairy. It seems like.
Okay. Can I put it on Sako?
You
Nazim.
you pointed in the general direction of Nazim, and the moment that the 45-degree angle, let's say, at the front of the lantern, kind of the first bit of it would start to touch.
Put my hand up to kind of block it.
Okay. The moment that it starts to get in his direction, the gem flares up brightly, actually emitting light now, not like in a big beam of light like a lantern would, but enough just because the gem is so lit up now, and the every kind of inch that you pass over him as you're passing the lantern in his direction is glowing a bright, fiery purple.
So that right there means that they will instantly go after him. It'll do the same thing, I'm assuming, when you point it at me, and I'll stand in front of it.
Okay.
When you step into it, Sarah's arm, her right arm from the elbow down, is glowing that bright, fiery purple.
Okay.
They don't necessarily like where Pogo's magic is from, but they will tolerate Fentesrith, which is where your magic comes from, Arteme.
Nazim is the direct opposition. Nazim's magic comes from Azel, which is chaos, and theirs comes from Starvald, which is order. It's the exact opposite. Like they would hate every fiber of Nazim's being.
Where does my magic come from?
Reconditus.
Oh,
It's kind of call it a necessary evil, kind of. Like, they still don't like it, but they'll kind of tolerate regular arcane magic, which is what Reconditus is. Reconditus is also made up of all of the kind of sub rills, like fire and ice and, elemental magics and so on and so forth. But Reconditus is kind of the catch-all, and the general use of that is fine. It's really the order or the chaos, rather, that they hate, and shadow, which is where Sirius comes from, Sorkanal.
So when I point it at myself.
You don't glow at all.
Yay, okay. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, so you guys should be fine, or we can just head to a different town.
Yeah, I vote on a different town. I don't feel like dealing with fanatics again.
no, maybe we can find more out. We can go to this, because here's the thing. If that entire town is filled with them, and their church is like their headquarters, that means there's going to be tons of them. What are we going to do? Like, we can't just fight what seems like dozens and dozens of these people. We got to I feel like we need more information.
Yeah, we're not going to the cathedral. It's fine.
We're not going to go save it. Did you not? Is that not where Dad is? Did we not figure that out?
I haven't told them anything about the conversation.
Oh, okay.
So
Got it.
I don't know if they heard anything.
I didn't give you guys the opportunity to. I would say that Fox would still have been able to pick up every word. She was in Fox form and able to, with keen senses, probably got every word of it.
Never mind then. All right. I mean, if
I still won't say anything. It's not my place.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know that Arteme would react to that, but that's, I would say, just for being fair, anyways. Go ahead as in Fox form, make a perception check, Arteme.
I had swapped back when they started asking questions.
You can still roll it from the Fox if you just go to the actor sheet and then go to Wild Shapes and then Fox.
Oh, but I had reverted back when they were talking about going into the town. When I hit
Couldn't
the...
have. You were still in the other room, and you wouldn't have been able to fit. You still would have been a Fox shape.
Oh, no, okay, sorry. So what am I rolling as a fox?
A perception check.
Okay.
Fox. So if you just click where it says skills perception.
Yeah, okay.
Well, true to form.
You know
with a
what?
natural
You know
one.
what?
There it
You know what?
is.
Perfectly fine. I don't think that happened. Go ahead, re-roll that.
God damn it. Pogo was with Arteme, so he would have
Right.
been able
Yeah,
to let you
within
reroll.
30 feet of her. I'd have looked at her and been like, what?
Of course, it's a fucking 19. So Arteme, Sarah, you don't know that she knows, but you could probably gather she probably heard that because she was in a fox shape anyways. All right, Justin.
Actually, Sarah's probably super emotional right now, so she wouldn't make that connection.
Okay, all right, that's fair. But Arteme, you gathered the whole conversation. Nobody else did. Nazim, you might have gotten bits and pieces through the doorway, but that would have been about it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really say anything because it's not my place. Just let her process.
Yeah, no problem.
The nicest thing you
Sarah,
can do.
I will point out, though, Becky, that Sarah would know that the halflings they're of course welcome in Eifelstead. They're pretty much this whole farmland is almost all halflings, but the halflings are kind of the lower caste, let's say, in the city, and it's almost all humans in there, which is part of why you also feel like Rosanna wants very much to be a part of the high society of Eifelstead, but is looked down upon, and you know that because when you're in Eifelstead, you're looked down upon. But all of the halfling kind of dense community that surrounds the outside of the walls, there's a lot of folks out there that would be happy to fence goods for you. There's a lot of merchants. There's basically there's a thriving community that's just outside of the walls as well.
All right, so do I know anyone personally who would fence goods?
There is a merchant called Gamfoot that is a fence. He buys and sells regular stuff too, but you do know that that he's kind of the person that the rogue community would go to sell things that may have been acquired illegally.
Right, so I'm going to start heading that way then.
Okay. You taking everybody going with?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, is it around... It's not like in the middle of the farm.
No. The Dunfield is a mile away from the city.
Okay.
So, basically, when you get to the outside of the city, there's, basically the houses that I was talking about that surround the outside of the walls, that's all the halfling villages around the outside.
I know, I'm just trying to think if Norok and Nazim are going to be super conspicuous.
Norok being in any kind of a halfling community is going to be super conspicuous because he's taller than most of the houses. But as far as, whether that would be a problem or not... Yeah, but Nazim is still looking like a human farmer, though, so he's still not going to stand out that much, unless he's floating. If you're keeping that appearance,
Hey, Norok.
that's up to you, though, Sako. If you're keeping your shape up, okay.
Oh yeah, creepy teeth.
Okay.
Hey, Norok, you want to turn into something else so maybe you're not as noticeable? You can pick any beast you want, and I can turn you into it.
What kind of dogs do you guys have around here? That'd probably be the most common thing. So you wouldn't have like a giant fucking aurochs or something walking around in the middle of town with you. So.
Alright. Then yeah, I'll just polymorph Norok into whatever the most common dog we have around town.
Okay. Probably just a cur, just a mutt, essentially. They're still quite large compared to halfling size, but they're friendly. They're the golden retrievers of the halfling world.
Great. And then just start heading to Gamfoot's house. I'm hoping it's not more than an hour away.
No. Even through it's just flat land. It's easy, an easy enough walk through, firm enough soil. You're not sticking into the mud or anything of that sort. Making your way towards where Gamfoot is. He calls it a shop. You know that he's very sensitive about that and kind of corrects everybody if they try to tell him, that it's just his house. But his shop is literally just a house where he has a door that is the Dutch style, where it's the top and the bottom are separate. and you know that the special knock that you're supposed to give, and so you're there. Let's say, anyways, is everybody going up with you, or are you going by yourself up to his shop?
Are we in the town?
I'll take Pogo with me.
I'll give you some shopping lists.
Yeah, take shopping lists just in case he has anything that we're gonna need.
Okay.
Pogo, please be nice. Whatever you
Sure.
do not call this a house. It is a shop.
All right.
And try to let me do most of the talking.
All right. Can you? I'm just gonna. Can you find out if he can give me like 200 gold for one of these?
We're gonna find out.
All right. Fantastic. What does this guy sell anyway?
I'm assuming just about anything he can get his hands on.
He sell kind of a random mix of things, at least as of July when you were still here.
It's a house of many wares.
Yeah, it's basically people sell
Did we
him
find a pawn shop?
a fence.
Oh, and I will grab the bag of holding from Arteme, or at least grab some of the stuff out of it, so we can sell some stuff.
Okay.
It's up to her if she wants to give me the bag or not.
Yeah. I'll pass her the bag.
Okay. All right, then Sarah and Pogo going over to Gamfoot's house / shop. Norok as a dog hanging out with Nazim and Arteme. Far enough away, anyways, that you're not drawing too much attention. Of course, Nazim's still looking like a farmer, anyway. So really, the only strange one would be Arteme as an elf there. But that's
I would hide my hood up to not get rained on, which would hide my ears.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the features are still pretty obvious if someone gets close, but from this kind of a distance, no one's going to even notice. Nazim, no hood, just awkwardly standing there, getting sopping wet.
Sopping wet with a big smile on my face.
Right. Then Sarah and Pogo. Sarah kind of leads you towards this house. You see what looks like a big farm. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, for the sake of simplicity, we'll say that you guys you'll be not communicating with Sarah, but you guys can talk and just tell Sarah the things you need, and she can try to purchase if needed. Anyways, this place that she's taking you towards looks like a giant barn, like a very big barn essentially. And there's a door that she's kind of walking you straight toward that is a split style, like Dutch style door. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense for everybody?
Yeah.
Yep. Top opens. The bottom is like. It's got a shelf on top, I'm guessing.
That's it, exactly. There's a shelf. So the door, you don't see the shelf there at the moment, but when you approach, you see that it folds up like a hinged kind of a thing. And you guys get there, and Sarah, standing in front of it, the knock. So do you go ahead and knock, the special knock you're supposed to use?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Then you do the shave and a haircut style knock. There's a like a grunt from inside. Hold on. Very, very kind of gruff and annoyed sound. Who is it? From the other side. Sarah Tea Leaf? And the door swings open. My, oh my. And you see step. You see a halfling face appear, like climbing upstairs on the other side of the door. This is a very large barn, human-sized barn, not halfling-sized. And he's kind of stepped up on, steps, like a stepladder kind of a thing on the back. Behind the door, and now you see his face, very, very cheerful looking, long mutton chops that come almost down to the chin, like very kind of bushy mutton chops, no beard, but the mutton chops are so long that they're almost beard-like for him. Most of his hair is gone, but he's got a big beaming smile. I haven't seen you in it must be what, 3-4 months? What are you doing back?
Just passing through with some friends. Figured I'd sell off some shit that I got.
Oh, is
You
that?
want it?
And he kind of winks at Pogo. I see, friends, eh? Found yourself a fella, have you?
No.
She just likes
really-
me because I do what I'm told. She's
Oh,
just she
man.
likes to be in control.
Oh, same
You know what
as
I'm
any
saying?
woman.
Can we see into the barn, or is it too tall? Like, is it?
It's human sized. You guys, the shelf that I was talking about, he pushes over, and it's a foot
So it's
above
like
your
when
head.
it's like when you're like at a bank as a kid.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah,
Yeah.
the shelf is above your head. Yeah. Oh, I think I've got a. Hold on just a second, and he steps down off of the stairs, and then kind of walks around. You hear some rummaging inside, and he comes back, and he steps back up the stairs, and then leans over, and he's handing what looks like do you guys remember those old school TV dinner type trays? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like it's a foldable step ladder. What's that? Would you?
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like a slotted tray kind of thing.
No, like a foldable thing, like folds up. Yeah,
In front of the couch.
like
so
a-
you can sit on the
yeah,
couch and
yeah.
eat.
yeah. And he hands two of them over. Here you are. You can at least get you able to see eye to eye. Anyways,
There we go.
Thank you.
he unfolds those so you guys can step up.
We're
I'm
looking
gonna
to
go walk around
sell
and start taking.
Well,
Do what,
not
G?
just sell. We've got
and to buy, depending on what you have.
so.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
In this rain, I'm
Well,
not getting a lot of business. I'm happy to have some customers today.
Out of curiosity, some of the items that we came across, they're basically just a little bit of gold, but they're not, in spending form. We need to kind of just get a little bit of this gold and trade it for coins. Is that something you could do, or are you more in the market of items?
He winks at you. He says, "Oh, I know. I'm very much in the market for you're talking about bullion, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah,
Something like that.
It's honestly, it's easier for me to ship it when we, send out big orders. Anyways, I'll be quite happy to take that off your hands. You got
Great.
one, two.
I'm gonna pull one gold bar out and put it on the thing. How much would you give me for one of these?
Oh well, let me go ahead and just weigh this real quick. And he takes it off of the counter, and it's like he literally has to kind of lift it, and grab it with one hand to like tip it up, and then use the other hand to lift it up. It's just too heavy, and kind of you see him leaning off to the side, and it's gone from your view for a moment. And he sets it on. What's that?
Do I see anything back in this barn that looks like it might be very valuable or magical?
Give me a perception check.
And I'm just trying to watch him with the gold bar.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check for that too. What, G?
I'm gonna go sniffing around. Since I'm the dog, I'm gonna go sniffing around and like start taking stuff off the shelves and just be a menace.
Well, it's not.
It's a
You can't get
closed
inside.
barn.
It's closed. Yeah.
Oh, god damn it!
And even the bottom
No,
half
he's
of the
just
door
like-
is closed.
No, come on.
I
man, I'm gonna find it.
imagine Ben is just picturing like a wall with like a door and a bunch of stuff.
I would say like Norok probably walks over. Could walk over to the wall and like pee on the wall, but that's about it. Like you can't really get inside or anything. So.
Damn it.
But with those perception checks, Pogo, it looks like at least from the visible area of the doorway, it looks like it's all kind of up and up goods. Let's say like you see shovels and picks and hoes and like farming goods, like farming tools and things of that sort. Nothing stands out as particularly valuable or is something. Not in the kind of realm that you were looking for, basically. Sarah, he's kind of leaning far enough over that he almost would tip. It seems like, especially with the weight of the bar. But he's kind of propping one arm against the window to keep himself from falling over while he's still standing on his step stool. And you hear chains rattle a little bit when he sets this gold bar down. Oh, let's see. That's about 175 gold pieces worth, crowns worth. And he leans over very carefully and grabs it and kind of grunts a little bit as he brings the bar back over and just drops it and it slams on the counter. About 175 gold worth.
Insight check.
Good.
We could maybe get a few more
Hang on.
bars.
Wait. Don't talk.
Oh, was that shushing Pogo for trying to talk?
Yes.
Okay.
And what I mean is,
No, just ignore this one. So,
see what I said about
175
control, and she was just the one always wants to be in control.
That's
So,
how the women folk of her family always were.
So 175 for one gold bar. How much would you give me if I gave you 50 gold bars?
His jaw drops and then he kind of squints a little bit. 50
I also
gold
squint
bars.
a little bit and was like,
How would you even come across such a vast wealth fortune?
Let's just say we
so
did.
there was, we can trust him. We can trust him. We can tell him. So there was a shipwreck that many people have been looking for decades. And we actually stumbled across it when we were investigating a bit of trouble that was on a coast far to the east of here. So when we discovered it, these were all inside the trove of that ship. So we have a little bit of gold, and we're trying to keep it a little more secret from the local government over to the east. So we brought it here to see if any of you might enjoy it.
Where's the shipwreck?
I'm not going to tell you where the shipwreck is.
Give me a
Come on,
deception check.
you're my- Sure. We've got to keep some of our secrets.
You see a gleam of greed in his eyes, and he seems to have bought it hook, line, and sinker. Pardon the nautical pun. The unintentional nautical pun. So, of shipwreck, eh? I mean, 50 gold bars. Are you counted, Miss Tea Leaf? You're not pulling my chain here?
I have exactly 50 gold bars.
He's like practically salivating. He swallows. 50 gold.
I don't know if... Do you have the kind of capital to be able to, fund that type of
Well, we're also
cash
shopping,
exchange?
so we can trade
True.
for some and take gold for others.
I mean, this is going to require, an expedition. I mean, I can put the people together for a tidy sum, certainly, but I'll, of course, be fair.
no.
At cost,
No,
at
no.
Barrett.
I have the 50 gold
No,
bars with me.
You see him put both palms on the wood of the counter and kind of lean over looking at you, and he kind of looks at your shoes and back up to your head. I don't think you do, miss. He looks
I'm
over at
just gonna
Pogo.
take the
Does
bag of
she
holding and start putting gold bars on
What
the
she
counter.
what she meant to say is, well,
I'm just
we
stacking them
have
up.
them. Yeah, no, that's all of that's what it is. Then.
I'm gonna put 10 up there. There's
well,
still
by the time you get
the
by the
rest
time you
of
get
them,
5,
the rest of them we have in a very safe location, just in
by the
case.
time you get 5 on the
wanna
counter,
make sure
he's like,
that's-
he
you
starts
have the
waving
capital.
his hand, and he like leans out and he's looking left and right outside. Sees Norok peeing on the barn, looking around, making sure there's nobody nearby, and he's like starts waving his hands. No, stop. 1, I think you'll break my counter here if you keep stacking these up, and 2, what is that bag?
It's a lot of shit.
How are you even carrying
can't
these? There's no way. I mean, I mean no offense here, Lady Sarah, but come on. There's no way you were carrying these things. Are they made of copper or something? And he grabs one, starts to lift it up. He kind of
That
wraps
bag-
his fingers against it.
Let's just say we
Are they wood?
also don't
Did you
want,
paint
we
these? Are these
also-
wood?
We don't
Go
want
ahead,
the.
pick one up.
Yeah, go ahead. Take care. I'm gonna take my dagger out and I'm just gonna slice on it to show him that some of the gold just kind of leafs off the way it does when you scratch at it because it's soft.
Mm-hmm.
See, real.
He seems to be believing all of this. That was an insight to check to see if you guys would be, if he believed
And
that
then
these are real.
I'm going to hold the strap of the bag up outside of the barn. You can feel the weight of this bag if you want. There's still 40 in here. If you want me to put the other gold back in and you can feel the weight, that's fine too. But I'm not letting him take the bag. I'm just letting him feel the weight.
Okay. He doesn't reach for the bag. He seems very interested in it, but he doesn't reach for it. I mean, these seem real enough. I'll take your word for it, but literally 50 gold. We're not confusing here. He's looking at Pogo. I mean, this is real. You guys actually have 50 gold bars.
Yes.
This is real, but we need to maybe keep it quiet a little bit here. This bag itself, you don't want any of those other people walking around in the red and white even seeing this bag. They'll probably throw us somewhere just for the abilities that it has. We're just trying to keep this, keep it down low. Let's try to keep this, quiet for now. Don't want to cause a scene or anything with all of this items.
All right. Well, I don't want to be
We trust
making
you.
this
Sarah
kind
seems
of
to trust you. So
this is a little more cash flow than I typically deal with. Just here, and he climbs down. You see him step off of the step stool. He disappears from sight. You hear him dragging something across the inside, like something dragging against dirt floor. And then there's a metal rattling in the inside of the door as he's unlocking the bottom part of the door, and he swings it open, and there is the full Gamfoot halfling, this 3'4" maybe inch halfling standing there. Come in, get in out of the rain, and we'll deal with this in a more civilized manner.
How big is this barn? Big
Human
enough?
size. It's huge for halflings.
Would you mind if we brought in a couple of other friends with us so they can get out of the rain?
and our dog. I didn't want to get a dog, but she refused to not get a dog. I said, no dogs. It's just going to end up having to walk it all the time. But Serafina, whole
Oh my
family
God.
just...
He
They get their way.
squints. He squints. He says, I'm not. Honestly, this all feels a little bit fishy. I'm a little
That's
hesitant to bring these in. You guys can make a persuasion if you want. You got a natural 1, so God damn it.
Hold on. Let's see. I'm not very good at persuasion.
I'm decent, but I rolled pretty low.
So it would be below the passive to allow a bunch of friends in, but if you want to bring your dog in, he's just going to keep wetting the barn anyways. You might as well bring him
All
in.
right.
All right, so I'll signal Norak to come with us.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to get down low to the dog. All right, Wiggles. Don't pee on anything in here, you big fluff ball, or scratch behind his ear.
You don't need to
Oh,
get
the
down, by the
boy.
way. His
yeah.
like he's already he's a little bit taller than you, really.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
If anything, you're reaching up to scratch his ears.
Speak, boy, speak.
No, no.
All right, he's a good dog.
What sort
He,
of?
he leads you
special
inside. It's all. I mean, my inventory these days is let's just say that I've been able to buy more than I've been able to sell. So
Oh, well,
I've
that
got
works
quite
in
a
our
bit.
favor.
50 gold bars.
Yep.
Look, now that we're in and he closes the doors, just here, come with me. And he kind of closes the doors. Norak inside as dog form, of course, walks around a corner. This is all dirt floor. It literally is a barn inside. But he walks around the corner that Pogo couldn't see previously, and he walks into a room that is just shelf after shelf after shelf, and they're metal, like they're steel shelves, which is extremely expensive. Nobody would ever make steel shelves. It makes no sense to do that. That is a huge waste of metal. But they're able to withstand heavy weights. And he walks into this to the back room there. You don't see most of the shelves are empty, but those that do have things are piled all the way like top to bottom. Whereas some of them are like starkly empty, and it seems like he could be moving the goods from the piles of stuff into the empty shelves, but for some reason those are still empty, and you're not. I would say that it stands out that's a little bit odd initially, anyways. But he walks back there, and there's just stuff everywhere except for those empty shelves in this huge barn area. Shelves that go way, way, way up. So, I mean, what are you really after, I guess? What are you looking for?
We've got a few things that we need, and then just looking for anything special you might have.
What are your feelings towards these Juthrins that are going around?
Give me a perception check on Pogo.
I'm just gonna stand in the doorway of the storeroom.
He closed it, so I mean, you can stand at the door.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, you could. You don't know if he locked it or not. You could try going inside, but he did close the door, so you're outside, basically outside of a big barn.
Yeah, I'll see if I could go in. If not, I'll try and pick the lock.
Okay. Nazim, what are you doing?
Are we still outside being inconspicuous, or we're inside now?
Well, Arteme walked away from you towards the barn, so are you following her?
Yeah, I won't get outed if I go into the not house store, right?
You look like a farmer. You look like a human farmer.
Creepy
maybe
human
I'll start walking my way towards there and just enter and just see what's going on.
Okay.
Being very cautious and careful to maintain appearances.
Sure. All right. Well, you're 10 feet behind Arteme. Arteme, you make it to the door. Try the door, and it does not appear that he locked it. You open it. It is, he kind of latched the doors together, so it opens as one solid unit, like a big barn door. But you open it up, stepping inside, and immediately there, Sarah and Pogo, you staring at Gamfoot here, and he freezes in place and kind of scurries away, running, his little halfling run towards the doorway. Excuse me, this is a private residence.
Sorry. They're friends of ours. They just wait outside, guys. Please.
Sure.
We'll be done in a minute.
All right, Sarah, Arteme, you close the door.
Yeah, I'll just stay is it a barn with like a bit of an awning? I'll just stay on it.
You know what? He after Sarah says that, he kind of turns back towards Sarah, and he looks angry for a moment, and then he looks back towards you. He says, I see you're one of the Sylvan folk. Far be it from me to leave you standing out in the rain, miss. If you don't mind, I don't mean to be rude, but if you want to come in and just stand in here, that would be amenable. That'd be okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gamfoot.
She barely
certainly.
ever likes fires, so
He kind of gives a question, like a puzzled look at Pogo.
that's a joke. Just a joke. Just a joke.
Nazim, you hear this conversation happening. You know, there's enough of a kind of a shout of a surprise there, as you see Artemis kind of stepping inside, the door still open.
I'll slowly approach the door, making sure that everyone sees me approach the door, and just give a friendly wave and just assume I could walk in slowly.
Okay. All right. Well, you walk up to the door. When you, kind of look through it, now that it's open anyways, you see Artemis kind of standing inside. She's moved away enough to give you room to enter. But you turn over and you see a short halfling that you don't recognize, presumably Gamfoot, who Sarah's here to see, facing away and kind of resuming a conversation with her and Pogo. You see Pogo and Sarah's faces kind of looking at you as you step through, but you're able to step in. It doesn't seem like he knows that you're there.
Good.
But okay. All right. You close the door. Okay, all right, and then you close the door behind you with Artemis and Nazim now in the other room, and Norok in dog form, and Pogo and Sarah in the other. The perception check that I had you make there, Pogo, when you mentioned the right before that interruption there, where he ran to the door, when you mentioned the Juthrans, it was a clear hatred in his eyes. He does not like the Juthrans. It's like a vitriol.
So, the reason I asked is obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but we're not big fans of them. So if we could
I
make
didn't exactly
anything.
hide my magic, so he knows I'm not a big fan of the Juthrans.
Yeah.
Oh, he knows that. All right. So yeah. So they're the worst. And if you have something in your inventory that you think might help us to either avoid or maybe even get rid of them from this area. How do I not mince words?
I doubt anything could get rid of them from this area unless we completely took them out, which isn't exactly.
But I mean, for one, this man clearly deals with people all the time at his business here. He might have some insight as to, not only the things, the wares that he sells, but perhaps the local ongoings of this group, and might be able to help, or at least provide us with something from his shop that could help. It's not completely outside the realm of reason.
You're
pay you for information.
Ugh. I knew I shouldn't have let you guys through the door. Look, I hate them as much as anybody,
50
but
gold.
his jaw dropped and kept getting like
bucks.
further and further down as you guys were having this discussion, the two of you talking about, getting rid of all of them and then this kind of conversation. Listen, far be it from me to stop anybody from wanting to overthrow the current situation, but I can't have them burning my barn down and taking my family.
Well, obviously.
No, we don't want that. Really, we just want to shop, and if you happen to have information on where my dad might be, that would be great.
There is a certain downcast response where your dad might be. What happened to Theodore? I haven't seen him for some time, but I didn't think much of it. I just figured Rosanna had got him reading.
That was I thought too.
No, as much as a horrible person she is, she loves my dad, so that's not an option.
Then where is he?
The Juthrans came to my house, and my dad let me escape. And so they took my dad for questioning.
And he was always a brave one.
Yeah.
Then, in that case, what you're asking, what you're not paramour, and he kind of grins a little bit like he doesn't believe it, like he believes that Pogo is your boyfriend, that you're just not talking about it, is asking for, then would be the kinds of B&E kinds of equipment you needed to get in through a window, that kind of thing.
That and information, or anything that you think might help
Anything
in
that's
this.
helpful.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us maybe, for example, I've noticed they have these lanterns that can detect magic. Do you know if they have those in the city to try to, find people who are using any kind of magical means?
Yeah, you're talking about the lanterns that they point at everybody as they pass through the
purple
gates?
ones. Aye.
Yeah, they all carry those.
All right. Well, see, look at that. We're already learning a few things today. This is a good day already.
Yes.
Look, let's do this before we get too far into the whole information trade, which I'm happy to help in any way that I can with that
Sure.
means, especially because information for me is generally cheap, and of course I'll give you the very best deal. So how about let's see those 50 gold bars. I want to believe you, Miss Tea Leaf. I do, but that just seems
Okay.
that seems crazy. He
Okay,
leads you
I'm-
over to one of the empty shelves, one of the ones that were empty, and you see that on the bottom one there is a row of only six silver bars that are laid across on the very bottom shelf of one of the empty ones, and he just kind of taps on that. Let's just start stacking them up. Let's see.
Do
Right, so
these
I
shelves
have-
seem like they could be magic?
No, they look dusty. They don't look. You don't get the impression that they are, maybe, but you don't really get any magical impression from them. It seems like he's just basically got a lot of goods and not very much gold right now.
Right.
He's doing a lot of buying and not a selling, is what he said.
So I have 5 gold bars in my bag, so I'll take those out.
Okay.
And then there should be 43, I think, in the bag of holding, and then Pogo should have 2 in his bag, which would make.
I actually I have 3.
Okay, so then there's 42 in the bag of holding, and 3.
The bag of holding says 45 are in there.
Okay. So
Yeah,
40
Pogo had given me some to put in because they were too heavy.
Okay.
So whatever's in the bag of holding, so the 42 or
45.
45,
45, yeah.
and then 5 from my bag.
Okay. All right. Then
I'm
you, one by one, very
I'm
carefully
gonna
stack up
wait
50.
till those 50 count out.
Okay. I mean, that takes a while. You Nazim and Sarah in the other room. I'm sorry, Nazim and Arteme in the other room. You're probably waiting just 10 minutes listening to clink, 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 clink as gold bars are stacked up in a big row. Well, sure enough, that bag is something, eh?
Sure is.
I don't want to be rude, but shouldn't you have more security around this room?
I typically
Seems a
don't
bit-
have much in here to be too concerned about. Not to mention, as long as folks keep their mouths shut, then nobody really knows what I've got in here.
That's true. Privacy is its own reward.
And we are a small community.
I don't typically have 50 gold bars sitting on my shelves. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, but I'm not really
Speaking-
sure where else to take these, and I trust you, so.
Well,
Speaking of, what
what?
kind of what are the coins for the 50 gold bars?
Well, we're also going to trade for goods.
All right, just want to. I mean, we showed you ours. You can show us yours.
I showed you yours. You can show me. Wait, what is that?
I showed
I'll show you yours.
I
You
showed
show me
you
mine.
mine. You can
Yeah.
show me yours.
Tell you what, for these, a single gold bar. I don't know. I originally had told you about 170, but I think I'll come up from that a little bit just to help for the cause. If you feel like you can really do something about this Juthrin problem, that would certainly be helpful to all of us here. Not that that's. And let me be clear, I don't mean overthrowing all of them. That seems outside of our pocketbooks. Let's say I don't think that this amount of gold will fund a revolution. But I'll give you 200 per bar. If you are amenable to that, certainly buy as much as you can from my shelves. I would appreciate that so that I could actually have little funds myself. But I'll give you the coins for the rest of it for a total of 10,000 gold.
Gladly.
Seems fair. I mean, obviously he has to go through the trouble of reconverting this into actually, usable, sellable currency. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's easier for me to sell bars than it is individual coins anyway.
So, how
What
much?
do you have?
Yeah, what do you think is the nicest item that you have? Something that would blow the socks off of a scholarly man such as myself.
First we should go through our shopping list and then see what we have left.
All right.
All right.
All right.
We do need a new dog. We need a new dog collar for Scruffles.
No, we don't.
No?
No,
All
he's
right.
fine. Do you have any health potions?
Stridos, yeah, the one of the herpetologists, not herpetologist. Herpetologist is a lizard studier. What's we'll call it an apothecary in town. Yeah, apothecary makes these up in Auburn and brings them down to me pretty regularly. Well, I haven't seen him for a couple of probably about a year now at this point, so hopefully he's still doing okay. Anyways, I still got a good stock of those.
What do you have?
Oh, probably a couple dozen.
That's a lot.
Greater, regular.
You are flush with potions, my friend.
He squints a little bit. To be honest, Miss Tea Leaf, I don't know the difference. I don't know that I would be able to tell.
Well, if you can give me 10 minutes with one, I can tell you.
I mean, if you got the 10 minutes, sure. And he kind of points at a box, and there's a apple crate, like a wood slatted crate that's just full of vials.
All right.
Well, she's looking at that.
I'm
What
gonna-
do you think is the most interesting thing you have at your shop? If you had to choose.
He kind of crosses one arm over his belly, and then rests his elbow in the hand of that, and kind of strokes his chin with the other hand. Most interesting.
We have a jar that can make mayonnaise once a day. It's interesting.
Interesting is the right word for that. That's
Yeah.
strange. I mean, I've got a decanter that will just pour water forever. I mean, in the realm of liquids from Magica vessels, that's pretty cool. I've got this rod here that and he kind of points to a shelf that if you click it, it'll just kind of float there in space. That's pretty interesting. I've got a couple of amulets that I don't really know what they do. I just know that when someone puts them on, they disappear, and then they come back saying that they saw just horrific demon creatures on the other side, and then came back, and then they never want to put it on again. So that one's been hard to sell, but I would still say interesting. Let's see.
Now, that amulet, out of curiosity, do you have to try to use it, or is it just the second you put it on, you just get vanished right away until that person takes it off? Is it just an immediate occurrence? Because it sounds like it could be fun at parties.
Good sir, I'm afraid that I've never been a brave halfling. I've never had want to put the thing on myself. But I can tell you that anybody that does put it on, they just poof are gone, and then they come back with the fear of Juther, let's say, in their eyes, and they never want to put it on again. It's been a hard sell. I've had that one for a few years.
I'll try that on.
How much is that?
I'm very curious.
What do you say? What did Nazim say?
How much is that?
Is Nazim saying this from the other room?
Mm-hmm. I'm listening in.
Then he goes frozen for a moment again, and then very cautiously and carefully peeks around the corner and sees Nazim, who he did not know was in there, in the other room. Welcome,
He's
sir.
the other friend we were telling you about.
Are there any others I should be preparing for? Should I set out a table and some refreshments?
No,
that would be
we're really
fantastic. No.
No, don't. Nope, that's it. Just those two. And the dog.
I mean, there's no
With
problem.
not being a dog in an hour.
There's no problem.
Not a
doing
dog?
little
What
business?
I knew this. You guys, what have you gotten into, Miss Tea Leaf?
Well,
There are some friends I acquired while not here. They're
all that
fine.
matters
They're very
is that
trustworthy.
they're friendly enough, they're trustworthy, and they're in out of the rain, and it's a very comfortable shop. We very much enjoy it and appreciate this.
Yes,
don't worry.
They won't say anything. Everything is fine.
But I would like to try that amulet on real quick. You've piqued my curiosity in the weird and strange. Is that all right? While she just takes a look at these items?
Yes, I'll tell you that I'm a little afraid that when you come back, you may not be, yourself anymore. You might be a little bit, uncomfortable or not ready to make a deal. Let's say when you come back, assuming
Well, I
you even
will
do
be.
come back.
So it'll be fine.
You're ready to just put your man out in the rain like that?
I'm
wants
curious.
to.
Let's just see what happens.
I'll snap my fingers a few times from the other room so he can hear me, and I'll just stare at him.
He's kind of standing in the doorway now. You know what? If you're miss of the Sylvan folk, if you want to come in here, sir, you may as well just join the party since you're all just coming in my shop anyway. And he kind of walks away into the other room.
Okay, I'll
Alright.
go in slowly and grab the amulet from Pogo before he puts it on?
Well,
and-
they don't have it.
Well, I
He's
don't
talking
have it.
about it. It's still.
oh, talking about it. Okay.
Are you guys not gonna let me try this on? I mean, it sounds interesting.
Can I try to identify it first?
It'll take 11 minutes unless you're going to cast it as a level 1. Well, so the actual spell.
I don't.
Yeah, Sarah doesn't have the actual spell. She can only cast it as a ritual, right?
Yeah.
Think so,
I
yeah.
I don't think Artemis has it at all. Yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
So she'd have to do it.
Which
And
will take
I-
11 minutes.
Currently doing it on
Tell you what.
Stratos right now.
Yeah.
Let's let Sarah do her thing. Obviously, we're probably going to be making you a decent amount of money, so we can relax for a few minutes while she does that. Also,
Well,
it's
by
not
the way,
bad
you
to
notice
know
that,
what you're selling.
he got more amenable when the gold was stacked up on the shelf because you guys can't just run out the door now. You know what I
Sure.
mean? It takes a while to put all that gold away, so he's a little more like friendly now at this point.
So, let's see. Do you by any chance know, is there a leader to these zealots running around? Do they have some sort of person in charge, I suppose you could say? Maybe someone that would know about her father if he was taken?
The adjunct cope.
I mean, the adjunct, yeah, he leads the Inquisition, sure. If he was taken, that's who you'd need to talk to, is the adjunct. I mean, the deacon is there too, but he doesn't usually deal with the whole messy business of the question.
Where is the adjunct located? Do you know?
Probably in the rectory below the cathedral.
Oh, so they're still all at the cathedral. Like, that is where they hang out, so to speak.
It's their. I mean, that is their church. I mean, they're not supposed to be there. Look, it's local politics BS. I don't know where you're actually from, sir, but as far as the business here in Pale, they're not supposed to be in the city, but of course they still are because of certain folks that are friendly to their faith let them sleep in friendly houses and so on nearby. But they're not supposed to be in the city. They're supposed to stay at the cathedral. They just don't. The rules keep bending in their favor.
How many do you think there are? We saw that there were a number of them around the city. How many do you think are in the city itself?
A few thousand at least, probably, and more in the cathedral itself.
Wow, I was not expecting that number. Okay, well,
Yeah, no, it's
Justin's-
literally a
Justin's
political
brain-
faction. Okay.
yeah, Justin's brain has now changed directions on what possibilities there are.
Yeah, no, for real. The cathedral is like a city size. It's a small town, or it's a large town, small city size. That's how big it is.
Upon hearing
Pogo's
that,
eyes, yeah,
I'm
Pogo's
gonna
eyes go
fold my
big.
arms and just start humming, throw the Druthrans down the well.
Once Sarah finishes her ritual, I'm gonna ask if he'd be interested in like the gemstones that are in the bag.
You can
Sure,
do that
we-
while she's doing. I mean, you guys can you can keep conversing with him while she's doing the ritual.
Right. Okay. So I'll ask if he would be interested in some gemstones and just gingerly take the bag from Sarah if she's not actually holding onto it.
He looks up at you with almost awe, like now seeing you actually in here. Tell you what, miss, I absolutely would, but I would be oh so appreciative if you would mind pulling your hood down.
Sure.
I don't see too many of your folk, and you're certainly a fine specimen anyway.
Thank you.
She's holding on to the bag. So I mean, if you take the bag from her, but you do have the gems.
Okay, I'll just take the gems out then. So the lapis, the jade, the tiger eye, the blue quartz, and the amethyst.
Okay, then you pull all the gems out of the bag, and he takes them. Kind of, you're holding them in your hand. Most of them are kind of spilling over. It almost takes both hands for you to really hold them all. But he takes them kind of one by one, and he lifts them up to his eye, looking upward. And you notice that every single time he picks one up, he's kind of staring at it as if he's holding a jeweler's loop, but he's staring at you. He's just lifting the gem up and staring at your face, and pretending that he's looking at the gem. Oh, this one's probably 125 or so. This one's not much. It's only about 25. And he's kind of going through them one by one, but he just keeps staring at you each time.
Okay then.
All told, and actually, let me look in the bag real quick because I don't remember what the values of each of the individual gems were. It was lapis lazuli, 4 jades. I actually put all the values in there for them. Tiger's Eye are 10. Let me just do the math on them real quick. Keep in mind, too, by the way, the values that you guys see on objects when you see them in your inventory, that is how much that is worth. That is not how much he will buy them for. Remember that. He still has to, make a profit on them, too. So you can certainly negotiate, but the amount that he offers you will not necessarily be the amount that is, on the tin, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, there's still that half chest of valuables.
Yeah, there's still that. There's still that. I'm gonna go with the small gems first, and then if he still has depending on the negotiations, we could keep that to later.
So much.
What is this Scarab of Rebirth? Why does this not look familiar to me?
That's because we got that before you.
Yeah, we got that before.
Goddamn, Sako. I knew I recognized it, but I couldn't remember what it was. The Borat song for Throw the Jew Down the Well.
Yeah.
Throw the Jutherans down the well.
Yeah, Throw the Jutherans down the well. That was from Borat 2. It was a good movie.
So we're nice folk. We just walk in wearing hoods and just want to exterminate the Jutherans. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was this big of a town. I didn't know it was thousands. In my head, I was picturing maybe 60 to 100 people. I was like, oh, okay.
So for a quick comparison, right? When you're doing these kinds of maps are called political maps, but when you're doing these kinds, the size of the icon on the map is not representative of time traveled or anything, but it is supposed to represent kind of how many people might live there, kind of thing, if that makes sense. The way that on a political map, you might see a capital as a big dot, and then a city is a kind of smaller dot, and then a town is a smaller dot, and then a village is an itty bitty little dot. Same idea, right? And if you look at that, just to give you a comparison, Eifelstead is the capital of this entire country. The cathedral is, about half that size, a little under half that size, even though it's just basically a church, right? Anyways, looking at overall the gemstones, though, with the whole pile that you're kind of holding there, for all of these, I could probably go 400 gold.
Sure.
All right, worth every penny.
All right. I'm assuming I should be about done with the...
Yeah, that's about fair, yeah. Okay, so you finish it. There's 24 in the crate, and they're neatly lined up. Half of them are regular, and then 12 more are greater, and then 12 more are superior. Wait, supreme. Whatever the one is above greater. I don't remember if superior or supreme is... I think superior is the one that's above greater.
Superior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No supremes, none of the top ones.
Superior is 12. Okay. All right, so I'll go back and I will point out the ones that are superior, the ones that are greater, and the ones that are regular.
Okay. And how many were you looking to buy, Bestie Leaf?
That depends. How much do you want for what?
You want the whole crate?
Sure. How much would you give me for the whole crate?
That's a whole crate.
Shush.
The whole crate would go for, call it 1,500.
That's actually not a bad deal.
It's actually a great deal.
That's a real good deal. How many
Tell
is
you
that?
what,
How
if
many
we're-
did you just buy?
There's
a lot.
24, right? So there's
It's 12,
Holy.
12 regular, 6 of greater, and 6 supreme. Yeah.
superior. Not supreme.
Yeah, sorry. I always mix those two up. It's dumb that they're both, they could have used a different name, basically, is what I'd say.
I actually haven't heard of supreme. I've only ever heard of superior.
The top one is 8d8 plus 8, I think. So, for
And it comes
potions.
with sour cream and tomatoes.
That's all I can think about too. I can't
Sour
hear the
cream.
word supreme. Well, I can't hear the word supreme without
Oh,
thinking
because of Taco Bell. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,500. It's all yours. We'll take the whole crate.
All right. And he kind of he's kind of carefully taking the gems out of Artemis' hand, doing a little too much touching, I'd say, of Artemis' hands as he's pulling the gems out, trying to scoop them out of her hand very awkwardly with his itty bitty little halfling hands. Let me just set these aside, and he kind of carefully, just rattles them to just kind of drops them basically onto the table, just so that enough that they don't fall on the floor. All right. Well, I mean, for 1,500, then let me just and he starts kind of ticking his hands up in the air as if he's counting. With the gold bars and the gems, that would have brought you to 10,400. Minus the 1,500, that would be 8,900 gold crowns. Still, that you're
I was
in your
thinking
favor.
get some few different, maybe a couple sets of thieves' tools. You got some picks and things of that nature?
Oh, not only do I have thieves' tools, I have the best thieves' tools. In fact, and he kind of walks over to, he kind of grabs, taps you on the shoulder and walks around a corner a bit, leaving the rest of you still, standing over there. Right here.
Insight. Okay. Never mind. I keep getting scared that he's like, I've got the best thieves' tools. He's gonna walk into the
shake
back
you.
room and it's just gonna disappear. No, he's gonna, like, the whole room's gonna disappear. We're like, what?
I'm gonna follow interested in the tool.
The empty shelves have me spooked.
Oh, that they're magic to make all the gold disappear?
And he's just fucking gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, some thieves.
He
tools,
leads you around
right?
a corner, and there's little stacks of different size of like rolled up, kind of like duffel bags almost. But they're like, you would recognize that this is clearly the kinds of second story work tools is what they're called. Second story work is a euphemism for breaking and entering.
Fantastic.
Like there's different size rolls of these here. If you just need to get maybe through a door or maybe crack a window or something, the next step up from these will also get you some compasses and some chalking tools if you need to maybe copy something down. These here also have tools for quick copies of say maybe a deed or a book that might have some
what is it,
information
like,
you need.
This is like a thieves kit and like a forgery kit all built into one.
Well, the higher you go, the more tools it has, certainly. The
Sure.
largest one, by the way, is like halfling sized, pretty much. The biggest one is probably too big for you, but still has other tools that you could probably disseminate into the bag or something.
I mean, this seems like something we might need, right, guys? How about we get
It's just you and Arteme.
Arteme. So do you think that's something we might need? I mean, I'd think it would be very handy. I was thinking that maybe like is there like maybe we could get like a alchemy kit, something like that.
That's in there too. The big one there that has everything you might need for building a disguise, for breaking and entering, for slipping something into pockets, maybe maybe some poisons of that sort. Spiking a drink, maybe if you need to knock somebody out. Make a guard sleep for a little extra long, that kind of thing. It's got tools for, like I said, for copying documents down very quickly. All sorts of fancy tools in there.
I'll take one.
Sure. Let's get one of those. I mean, we only need one for the whole group, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're both going to be breaking into different buildings in the same night. Don't get me wrong. If you want two, I've got two.
Just to be safe, I better take one of the smaller ones for myself. Just a thieves kit. Just a basic one.
Well, that small one's only 5 gold. The big one's 100 gold.
I'll take one of the big ones with all the stuff in it. And
All right.
yeah.
Cool. And then I'll just take one of the small ones out of that.
Alright. If they come back out, I want to find out if he has any paper and ink. And not just regular, but the type that wizards would use for
You
spells.
see, Miss Sarah, you were the only reputable buyer that I ever bothered keeping that thing and that kind of stuff in stock for. I most certainly do. No one ever comes in asking for it, and I still happen to have some since the last time you were here. So, how much do you need?
Add some for me to that order.
He kind of squints at you a little bit. Most certainly, your folk typically don't like these kinds of supplies, but I mean, as long as you don't mind the human make of it, I certainly will be happy to sell it.
I dabble in a few different magics.
Do I know how much it would take to copy down, like, say, a second level spell? How much paper and ink?
It's 50 gold per level of the spell, so it'd be 100 gold worth of paper and ink
Alright, so
for each second level spell.
Sarah would like 200 gold and ink.
Okay. That's only 2 second level spells, right? Or, when you get up to a third level spell, it'll be 150 gold, so on.
Yeah, but I don't plan on going that high on wizard, so I'm not sure. If I copy down a third level spell, I'm not able to use it if I'm only able to do second level, right?
You'd still need a third level spell slot to be able to cast it, yes.
Yes, so
Yeah.
this is fine.
Okay. All right. Then he comes back with a paper wrapped, like a paper wrapped paper, I guess. It's like a sheaf of paper essentially, but it's wrapped in paper also. Just be very careful with this, Miss Tea Leaf. This, if you get this wet, this could, won't be responsible for that, I'm afraid.
That's fine. It's going in this very special bag. Going in the back.
You know, if I may, how?
I can't buy it. I'm sorry.
But it's so interesting.
But it was a gift from a very good friend.
All right, maybe tell your friend about my shop here, and maybe I can buy one.
Otherwise, I'd say we could work out a deal, but
All right, what else would you guys like? I've got quite a bit more in here.
I'm gonna show him the bauble that I used for identify. Do you have any more?
Oh, glass? Yeah, of course. Yeah, glass beads, certainly. There's a handful right there. Just grab a handful of them.
Do I know?
They're regular glass
If
baubles.
they're
They're
what
not
I
the kind you need. No.
Yeah, no,
You
I need,
show him the glass bauble. He doesn't know. It just looks like a chunk of glass. It looks like a bead, like a glass bead. He doesn't know
I'll
the difference.
explain to him how it works and see if he's acquired anything like it.
Oh, that I don't have. I'm afraid that might be a bit outside of my competence when it comes to buying and selling such a thing. I wouldn't know the difference.
That's fine. Just wanted to make sure. And then I just need charcoal, incense, and a brass brazier.
I believe I have each of those. Certainly. Your weird little requests are a fond memory. I'm glad to see you. Still doing these things despite the persecution around here. All right. How many castings of it are you needing for charcoal or for the herbs, incense?
It's 10 gold for each casting, so I'm just gonna get 50, so 5 each, just in case.
Okay.
Same. I'll get 5 each.
Another 5 for you. Okay.
And
Another 100 gold.
and 200 gold worth of ink too, and I'll go from there.
Okay, another 200 for you. All right.
Oh, do you have any spell scrolls?
I honestly I try to avoid them. To be honest, I never know really what they're worth, and I'm always afraid that I'm just going to get taken for my hat, so to speak. So I don't really buy and sell those too much. I see them occasionally, but I don't have any at the moment.
That's fine. That's all I need on my list, but I'm still interested in whatever you might have that's not on my list.
Well, how about your friends? I mean, they're here anyways, right?
I mean, what if I feel like we can use some of the basics, like, get one of those packs that has like a crowbar, hammer, pittance. What are they, like a dungeoneer's backpack? You got one of those?
I
Just a
already
basic
have one of those.
All right, sorry. Well, I have two.
I already
Doesn't hurt.
have go for it if you want it, but I've already got pythons and stuff.
I know, but this way, maybe I want some pythons.
They're kind of
Maybe I'll
heavy,
have a
to be
few
honest.
pythons.
I wouldn't want to lug one around, but if you're going to throw it in that bag you got there, then certainly by all
Why don't we
means.
just get one of those, and then we can
That's
get
50.
and then we can get how much is like a diplomat's pack? Just map scrolls, fine clothes, some ink, pen, lamp, oil.
I mean, each of them go about 50.
What about herbs?
This is some retail therapy.
You know what's funny is
Forever.
for real, Pogo has been complaining about not being able to shop for so long.
He's worse than a girl.
I was gonna say it was a little bit, little girl like wanting to go shopping, but I get it. It's just Pogo. Pogo as a character has been on a lot of harrowing adventures for a while, so getting to kind of feel like a normal person probably is useful for him.
It's the shopping episode.
It kind of is.
Shopping
Yeah.
episode.
It was a family visit, like an awful family visit, and then shopping. A friend of mine just asked how the visit with your mom went because I told her about all this, that you were probably going to be going to see your mom. She asked just a minute ago. I just texted her back. How did the drama with the mom? Was there drama with the mom meeting?
You should definitely have a listen to that with me just yelling with a mouthful of apple.
Yeah, I might give her the recording. Yeah, so
I think that's a good that's a good idea of how it works on our games.
of Pogo eating an apple and trying to interrupt awkwardly in a really tense family meeting kind of a thing. All right, Dungeoneer's pack, Diplomat's pack. I got the ink and the paper for both Sarah and Arteme, the brazier, incense, and charcoal for Sarah and Arteme, Thieves' Kit for Sarah, the big one for Arteme, not Sarah.
Yeah.
Hey, Arteme, I'm gonna probably take some of those ball bearings from you once you get that kit. Don't need all of them.
What?
It comes with 1,000, so
Yeah, I'm just gonna take some of the ball bearings out of there.
Fine.
It's just, it's not fun to have. You
A
can
crate full of
toss them
potions. And that's what I have so far as the list. So
He can have the crate. I'm individually taking them out and putting them in the bag of holding.
oh well, that was nice of you. I mean, I'm not going to knock any of the price off, but I can certainly use the crate again.
It's fine. I'm assuming that the crate wouldn't fit in the bag anyway.
So
It won't fit through the mouth.
I've got a question for our farmer friend Nazim. I mean, Peter. I mean, never mind. So, do you want to look around for something to protect your squishy hide?
Oh, right. What do you have armor-wise? And what about the herbs?
Go ahead, Sako.
Oh, sorry. I was actually looking to see if you have any scythes or maybe a war pick, maybe some mage armor of some sort.
Mage armor. I mean, that would usually be what, fancy robes and a floppy hat. What is it you're looking for?
That's
It's actually fancy
studded
hat
leather,
and a
just some
floppy
light armor.
robes.
I mean, I've got leather. Sure, I've got leather armor that you might still be able to kind of move around in. Usually, the kind of mage folk, even around here, don't typically wear a lot of armor. But I mean, if that's what you're looking for, certainly, it'll at least give you a little, protection from the cold, maybe, and someone tries jabbing you with something pointy, maybe it'll stop it a bit.
Yeah, just some light armor is fine.
Okay. Something you can still wear under your clothing, probably. That'd be still fit for you. That's fine. Those aren't, to be honest, those are kind of a dime a dozen. That's only about 10 gold.
Do you have anything that might, help him even more than that? Any fancier armor, or is this?
Yeah, I mean, I might have something. You know what? When you said mage armor, I guess I hadn't really thought of it in the way you were. You may have been thinking. Or were you looking for maybe something with an enchantment of sorts?
Possibly, I'm open to your wares.
Well, I mean, I've got this cloak here. Where did I put this cloak?
He's got this amulet that if you put it on, you're very well protected. Yeah, want to see
Speaking of
it?
that amulet. Speaking of the amulet, Miss Sarah, if you were still being so willing to do so, if we find anything of particular value, to be honest, like I said, I've never really known what to charge for it, but anybody that's put the thing on has not been willing to buy it after the fact anyway. But if you are capable of throwing some of your attention at that amulet for a bit and maybe tell me what it can do, maybe we can come to an agreement on its value. If you want to try that, maybe while I'm taking your friend over to go look at this cloak.
Absolutely.
All right.
If there's any other items you don't know what to do, she might be able to check them out.
That was
I mean, I don't want to put Sarah to too much work here, especially after being away for so long. But if there are some other things here, maybe
anything we're interested in, as long as you don't mind a yog popping up in your shop in less than 40 minutes.
a yog. He looks.
dog. No, it's our dog.
He looks over at the door. He looks
Nope.
over at the door. I don't think a yog is even going to fit through there. Not to mention, the whole bloodthirsty
Maybe I should-
swinging of the axes and everything. How did you come up with a
Maybe I
yog,
should
friend?
He's perfect.
Maybe I should take waffles out
civilized.
for a poo.
He's perfectly civilized. He's fine. The dog will turn into a yog in about 40 minutes.
The dog is a yog?
Yes, just as long
The
as you're
dog's a yog.
Oh, can you?
Sounds like a Nickelodeon show.
He looks over at Norok. Look, Mr. Yog, I mean, no offense, and he holds his hands up. I'm not any threat to you, but just can you please just outside? Is that gonna? He looks over at Sarah. Is that gonna offend him? Can he understand me?
Well, right now he's got the intelligence of a dog. If you want me to change him, I mean, he's going to have to, crouch through the door to get out, but he can talk to you if I change him back.
He covers his mouth and whispers towards you. Don't they always have the intelligence of a dog?
He's
I
No?
laugh. Pogos.
He's a lot friendlier than what we ever believed that Yog would be. He's amazing.
He squints. He looks extremely suspicious. I'm gonna.
Come on. I'll take him outside. I'll take him outside. We'll go outside.
Wait. Is there somewhere he can go that no one would see him right away? In case he reverts back before we're done.
How tall are the ceilings here? I mean, he's only like 8 feet tall.
It's a huge barn. Yeah, he could fit in here. He's
Oh,
fine.
he's only
He would
8
fit.
feet
He would
tall.
fit through the door. He would be fine in this house.
But if
Just
he's not,
but Gamfoot doesn't really know how big a Yogg is. He just knows that they're giant monsters that would ravage and destroy a town and burn the place down and kill everybody. So he's not they're monsters to him as far as he's concerned. They're not a human creature.
he is perfectly friendly. He's intelligent. He won't do anything to your shop, I promise.
No, he's the sweetest of men. Sometimes when I'm chilly at night, I'll curl up right next to him just to make
He
sure that.
also carries Pogo in a backpack if he needs to sleep.
Yeah, and then I get a nice nap. I recommend it.
So you managed to this time you've been gone, you've tamed a Yogg and brought him back home with you?
Yes.
Yep. Although, to be honest, he was pretty tame when I met him.
Yeah. Do you have to you didn't not use the whip, right? I mean, you trained him right.
He's perfectly civilized.
I'll believe it when I hope I never see it, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, we got a little time,
All right.
but
Let's get these deals done so that I don't have to.
Sure.
So
Did we find some protection for our squishy friend over here?
the cloak. He's gonna stay a dog, right? I mean, I don't need to worry about him, breaking out and fucking tearing my shop down with his axes and everything.
No.
Spraying blood everywhere.
No, he'll be fine, and if it makes you more comfortable, I can turn him back into a dog. When he reverts back, it's completely up to you, but we have 40 minutes at least.
Is he a dog a lot? Is that a thing that
No.
they do?
This is new. It's just because people are super uncomfortable
I'll say.
his race around here.
You brought
Yeah.
a Yogg into my shop. I ought to be raising prices just for that alone, just for the damage he'll do.
He's not going to do any damage, I promise.
I think I'm gonna go get that cloak and put it on myself. Do what, G?
I'm gonna go find something and tip it over, or grab it from the mouth.
Bad Yogg. No.
All right, I'm gonna go take
hit him with a rolled up paper, but then it might actually do damage.
do enough damage to revert him back.
Start looking around for a water bottle to spray him with.
Yeah, there we go.
Here, I'll take him out. If while you're in here, I'll go out with Nora, just to be safe. While you're in here, see if they have any neat crossbows. But besides that, I'll
Meat
just take 'em out.
crossbows?
Yeah, meat crossbows.
You want to
meat.
fight? Is that for the dog? Is that for the Yogg? You got to fire stakes off to
Yeah.
keep him
Any kind
entertained
of
or something?
meat crossbow. Interesting crossbows.
Something that's
Anyways,
not
come
a
on.
regular
Come on, boy.
crossbow. Take him out back.
Come on, boy.
No one
And
will
I'm just
see
gonna,
him.
I'll take
Come on, boy.
Norak outside and out back, around one of the walls.
Poor Ben. He gets
so-
every time he gets screwed. It's always carry this, go be furniture over here, go stare through a window, don't get seen. Now be a dog for a while.
I
Hey,
tried.
All right. Then in that case, he takes Nazim around the back of some other shelves. You guys can still kind of see, through him. He's just behind a shelf, basically. Imagine being in Costco and somebody the next aisle over, kind of thing.
I'm casting a ritual, so I'm not paying attention at this point.
Okay, on the amulet.
Yeah.
All right. Sako, he takes you around, or Nazim around the shelf there. There it is. I can't. You're a little taller than me. If you don't mind, just grab that. You see that pile of that deep kind of black velvet cloth up there?
Yep.
He kind of points to it. Then you grab it. It feels extremely soft on this side, and as soon as you unfurl it, it kind of what's the cloth I'm thinking of where you push it one way and it's like sequin type things. You know what I'm talking about?
Like a velvet
I
kind
think
of
it's-
thing, or
I don't know what
it's
it's.
sequin.
Is it? Well, it's not really actually sequins though. I don't know what that would be.
Are you
But
talking
anyways,
about the ones where you rub your hand on it and it
a
changes
different
color to the
image.
other?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Basically,
those
yes.
are
Yeah.
sequin. Those are sequin.
Are they really?
I'm almost
Okay.
positive those are
All
sequin.
right. Well, then in that case, it's a cloak that's made out of velvet, essentially, like a soft black velvet that have little scales, basically, like stitched to it, kind of. That as soon as you kind of pull it off and unfurl it, those settle. They fall down so that they're all aiming down, whereas they were the other direction before. And they're kind of a deep blue color to them, but they're not really armor in any sense. They don't feel like they're even hard at all. He says, but that there, if you put that thing on, one, anything that if somebody takes a shot at you from a distance, they'll have a much harder chance of it actually hitting you. And two, just kind of bunching yourself up if you're preparing for a hit, you'll be able to absorb. In fact, go ahead and put it on real quick. And I don't usually do this with my customers, but let me just punch you real quick, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right.
And I'll warn you, I boxed in my youth, so let me just prepare you for this. You're 6 feet tall and he's 3 feet tall, so you're kind of not too worried about this. But you pull the cloak on and you kind of wrap it around your ankle because it's about as high as he can reach up, as like maybe your knee. And he just kind of gives a quick jab, and you don't even feel it. It's a cloak of protection to be +3 to your base AC when wearing it, and disadvantage on any missile attacks against you.
That works. It's better than what I have now.
Now this here, I mean, it's fancy certainly, and people have always liked it for the style, of course. But it's not a cheap one. It's about 3,000 gold, if you're willing to part with so much. Worth every penny, though, especially for the and he kind of whispers it, the mage types. Kind of a bad word around here. Generally your folk aren't the hardiest, and wearing the kind of standard armor is not usually something you guys can do, so it's something that I didn't expect to have on the shelves for very long.
Well, I don't have the 3,000, but I'll look over at everyone and just throw my hands up. But if we have some left over...
Well, I'm gone and Norak's gone, so...
And Sarah's doing a ritual, so it's just Artemis.
Justin would say do it, but I don't know what Artemis is going to say.
So would who?
I would say that Sarah can still hear and say this, and you'll just have to roll to see whether you have to start your ritual over again if you got too distracted.
Okay, I'm just gonna nod yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's 2 yeses then. So he says, then your friends seem amenable if you're willing to purchase it. Honestly, me too. If I get a vote, I would definitely say do it as well, because I probably won't have this very long.
All right. I'll do it if we can afford it.
I'm gonna ask if he has anything else interesting of stock.
Let's see. The amulet. I've got a few things. Let's see. And he goes over and he starts. He basically, as you guys are having this, he's taking the piles of gold. He's split it into 2 piles, and he's putting the gold bars to one side that you've essentially spent along with the gems, and the other gold bars that you're kind of still your guys' cash value on the other side. Let me mark this down real quick. That ranged attacks, by the way, the disadvantage on that's arrows and physical things, not spells. Just so you know, Sako.
Yeah, like bullets, projectiles, pretty much.
Yeah, projectiles, exactly. Projectiles. Yeah. For Nazim. All right. Then we will come over to the make an Arcana check, Becky.
Okay.
I would say they just barely keep the ritual going. It's going to take you a little bit longer without having to start over again, but you got too distracted, replying to that. You were doing the mental math of the cash and kind of got distracted too much, so you'll still be able to finish it. You don't have to start over. It's just going to take you a little bit longer.
It's fine.
Okay. Let's see. Miss Lady of the Sylvan Isles. I've got a staff here that's, to be honest, I kind of expected this to go with the cloak that your friend just bought there. To be honest, I don't really know exactly how it works. I just know that it was quite a prized possession. I would need to probably have this looked over as well, really, to get an idea of how it actually works. I just know that it was very valuable to the person who parted with it upon their death. I've got another some boots. That kind of make you hard to see. Makes you kind of blurry, very difficult to focus on somebody when they're wearing them. Honestly, they're kind of ugly. Nobody really particularly likes them. Got a ring that kind of keeps you healthy. Every morning when you wake up, if you had a wound, it just seems to have healed so much faster than it would normally. Kind of keeps you regenerating all day. Keeps you healthy. A very handy one. Let's see. I've got this glove. It's a really weird kind of a single white glove, kind of strange looking. But every time, if you about once a day, this tends to work. If you point in a certain direction and snap your fingers, you will disappear and reappear in the location that you pointed to.
Teleportation gloves.
It goes real far too. I actually, the one time I used it, let's say I pointed a little bit too far above the ground, and boy, did my knee hurt for a week plus after that. I actually wore that ring to kind of help with that because I fell a little far. Wasn't real nice, but my own fault for testing the things. Usually I don't.
Very
Any of that sound interesting?
The boots, do they just make you blurry, or do they also muffle your sound? Make you stealthy?
I don't know if they do anything for the sound. They just, when you put them on, and they take a long time to lace up, so I could show you, but you're going to be lacing them for probably half an hour, and I really don't want your Yogg friend to not be a dog and come in here raging. So, anyways, how they work is they when you're wearing them, at least it's very hard to focus on you. So, for example, if I were wearing them right now and you were looking at me, your eyes would keep kind of twisting around a little bit and not be able to focus on me. It makes it very hard to see somebody. You can still tell that there's something there. It's just hard to see that they're there. Mechanically, it would give you the displacement effect.
Sarah is holding her thumb up because she wants that shit.
Okay. Okay.
She's focusing on her ritual.
But, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Most of these things are more expensive than the amount of gold you've got left. So, maybe one of these, you've got 50, he does a little, kind of tabulating his head again, kind of pointing his finger up, 350 gold left worth. So maybe one of these things, maybe two of the smaller ones, but...
Sarah would like the boots. What was the other items? I lost track.
So a ring of regeneration. I'll just tell you the names for simplicity's sake. But the boots are boots of displacement.
Okay.
And then a ring of regeneration, and that one basically is you restore 1d6 hit points every 10 minutes. And then if you were to lose a body part like a finger or anything, it will slowly regrow over time. Do
you need to be attuned to it?
I think all of these require attunement. The ring definitely, the boots definitely. The glove definitely requires attunement as well, and that casts Dimension Door once per day.
Okay.
So you can teleport with that.
Well, if they require attunement, I don't think I'm going to go for some because I already have attunement things.
Yeah.
But Sarah wants the boots.
The boots, if that's so, I would say that you notice Sarah put a thumb up in the air while she's doing the amulet. These boots, they're pricey. It's going to be at least 20. I would have sold it for 3,000 for you guys, especially with as big as this deal has been here. We'll call it 2,500.
Sure.
You agree, Miss Tea Leaf? Deal?
Gonna hold my thumb up because I really fucking want them, but
make another Arcana check.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, the boots, definitely.
Okay.
Wait, what was the staff?
Well, he doesn't know. You guys would have to have it identified.
Alright, okay.
I'm done.
Alright, so I'll have a look at the staff before I make a decision, and yeah. I think that's about it.
All right, minus 2,500 then. You know what? I was not tabulating. I was doing a total for all of it, but not how much each individual item was. So if you guys decide not to buy certain things, you're gonna have to be honest and tell me how much they were.
I think that was the only one we've gone back on.
Yeah, so far nobody has gone back on anything else.
Yeah.
I just meant just in case. He says, you know what? While she's still finishing things there, listen. I'm terrified that you have a tamed Yogg outside. I'm afraid that any minute he's going to burst through the door and just slaughter us all. But, I'm a businessman first and a coward second. So first, is there anything he might want?
I'm not actually quite sure.
Like, does he need a special, dog food bowl? Does he need treats? Does he need...
No.
Does he need like a toy? Does he need like a rope to chew on or play tug of war with? I don't know what Yogg do except murder.
Am I about done with my ritual?
I would say that, yeah, you're pretty much wrapping up at this point.
Yogs have a bit of a different.
He is extremely strong. He's great in battle, but he can't wear armor, so anything that could help with, him maybe not getting hit.
Not getting hit. Yogg. This is so weird.
Oh, actually, wait. The ring. If you just need to tune it, he'd be able to wear it on a chain, and it would still affect him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe the ring then. To help him heal.
He has 3 things attuned already, and already has a ring of invisibility that he can't attune. He has 3 things already. So.
Okay, never mind then.
It's still a good idea. It's just that you
Has
guys
like
are
a whole other weapon too.
Yeah, well, he has 2 weapons and then a ring of evasion that he keeps on. He has 2 weapons attuned: his Vulcanbreaker and his Sword of Stolen Hours. So, I mean, Ben, for I was asking in narrative, but Ben, I want you to be able to actually say, "Hey, I want something too." Like, you have a shopping list, G?
No, because again, actually, Becky already touched on it. The only thing I can really think of would be, again, something that might help me defensively, but it wouldn't be armor or anything. So besides that, I don't really know. And that ring of mending, is up to the entire group, because that could be something beneficial in case, like they pull a Ketis and lose a hand or your entire body or something like that. We can grow it back.
Now, it's 1d6 every minute, right?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right, well, that's a lot better than my Ring of Healing Surges, and if I get these boots, I'm probably going to get rid of my Ring of Healing Surges, because I really want Pearl of Power and the Rod of Absorption.
Okay, wait, the Ring of Healing Surges, that did need attunement or didn't?
It does.
It does. Let me click on it so you guys can see it. There you go. That's the Ring of Healing Surges.
That Ring of Healing Surges has saved you guys from TPKs probably a dozen times.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Let me clarify something real quick. The Ring of Regeneration isn't... You don't get to use it once every 10 minutes. It is on every 10 minutes it'll tick, essentially, and heal you a little bit. It's not on use. It's an automatic passive thing that over time it's actually... So basically it's healing 1 hit point every couple of minutes, essentially, is what it's doing.
So it's not going to help you if you get fucking murdered.
It's not something that if someone gets hit and you can just use it real quick to heal somebody, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
But if you're only unconscious, but if you get knocked unconscious and stay alive for a minute and a half or 2 minutes, then it will tick 1 hit point back to you and you will wake up. But it might be a minute and a half before that happens.
If Norok, who rarely ever gets hit or goes unconscious,
he gets hit all day, every day.
But he barely ever goes unconscious. If he has the Ring of Healing Surges, and right now he only has 2.
No, he has 3 things attuned right now.
Mm-hmm.
He has 4 items. He has 4 items that need attunement, and 3 of them are attuned. His third one is his Ring of Evasion, and then the 4th one that he does not have attuned is that Ekrid's ring that would allow him to turn invisible.
Yeah.
And let me just, guys, I've been meaning to point this out for like 3 sessions now too. Keep in mind, in narrative, of course, Nazim is still new, and you guys are a little bit starting to trust him, maybe, whatever the case is. However your characters feel about it is totally up to you. But Sako, as a player, doesn't have any cool magic items. So, I mean, you guys are all you have too many already.
He's got one now. He's got a cool cloak.
Yeah, and the cloak is cool, and that would actually...
Cloaky made Cloakerson, that's it.
Yeah, but basically what I'm saying is you all have too many magic items that you can't even use them all, and he doesn't have anything attuned, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, in the situation we're in and where we're at, Sarah would be willing to give him the Ring of Healing Surges.
Okay.
So if Nazim wants it, it's his, especially if Sarah's going to get the boots.
That works.
All right, up to you guys, however you want to do it. I just wanted to point that out too, just so that you guys, since you guys already have too much anyway, that's an easy way for you guys to be able to spread things out and not have them just wasting in the bag when nobody could use them to help you.
Yeah.
Sarah would be so willing to do that.
All right. Well, then, as far as what other purchases are, that after the purchase of the boots, then that would put you down to 2850.
All right, and I will spend 10 or 11 minutes on the staff,
All right.
which is getting we're like 20 minutes now before Norak reverts back.
It's been pretty close. I mean, just in game, we've been almost an hour, and it's been pretty narratively appropriate, I guess, as far as the conversation occurring. Not like we've been in initiative or something. So, oh shit, we're actually coming up on time too. So we'll just do this real quick then. The staff it's just a long black oak, like a dark stained oak, and there are iron tips at both ends. It looks like it's like a quarterstaff. It looks like it's a weapon, not really like a caster staff, if that makes sense. But it's a magic quarterstaff. It's a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls, and while holding it, you have a +2 to armor class saving throws and spell attack rolls. And it has 20 charges of the following properties, and it regains some charges every day. It's a random amount, but it gains charges every day. And if on that charge, if it rolls a 1 on any given day, then it actually loses all of its charges and it won't work until the following day. So anyways, it has basically, some possible negatives to it. But if you hit somebody with it, you can expend a charge to deal extra damage with it. You can cast certain spells from it. There's a limited list. I'll give them to you if you choose to go with them. And then you can actually use a reaction to strike back at somebody to expend all the charges if they hit you.
Interesting. Does it require attunement?
Yes. It's actually specifically requires attunement by sorcerer, warlock, or wizard.
Okay, never mind then.
It's called the Staff of Power. I'll give it a different name, but the D&D 5e one, if you want to look at the stats, it's called Staff of Power. They'll just be slightly adjusted is all.
So that'd be a Nazim item if you'd want it.
Yeah.
Because he's a wizard.
Is he?
He's a warlock.
Warlock, sorry. Warlock. So I'm just gonna look at him and, point to the staff.
Okay.
I as a question, without actually saying anything.
I'll just nod and put a thumbs up.
And I'll look to Sarah.
How much do you want for it?
Honestly, this is probably one of the more expensive items in the place, but considering that you didn't have your Yog Dog kill me and loot my whole shop, and the rest of the dealing here, I'll still be able to get a lot for this gold, and I think if we're going to call it a fair trade, we could. Do you have anything else you can kick in? Do you have anything of value
Bro,
that might?
That staff
Yeah.
is so rad.
I'm gonna grab the half chest of valuables and grab a few things out of it.
That half a chest of valuables, what's left in it is 200 gold worth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
So-
going
A
to ask
jar
him, how
that can
much
make
more
fluids.
do you want?
Make him 8 gallons of mayonnaise real quick.
Do you want a gallon of honey or mayo or milk?
I think I'm okay on that, but let's see. As far as these,
Dude.
this box of silver here, I'll give you 200 gold for this.
Okay.
Call it even?
No, not quite. Do you have any other magic items that might be things you don't want that you might trade for it?
We can make 4 gallons of beer.
Well, no, we have magic
Is it
items
magic
in the
beer?
bag. What items do we have in the bag that are magic?
You have the Scarab of Rebirth, the Rod of Mesedsu, the Chris Knife of Mesedsu, the Jutheran Lantern, the Rod made of Platinum, which is the Wand of Switcheroo that you guys used. That's in there. You have the sets of Jutheran heavy plate armor still, by the way. Those are really valuable.
He won't want
That's-
that though. There's no
You
way
will
he'll
not want
that.
them. They're just valuable.
Oh, what
You
about
need to sell it after that fails.
what about the box of turquoise animal figurines?
That's another 250 gold for that.
Okay, those we could probably go without. We could sell those.
And I have 3 rubies and 3 sapphires.
Those are valuable.
All right, the turquoise animal
I got off
figures,
the
the turquoise animal figures, the all the silver in that box there, the lantern.
Oh, I want to keep the lantern.
Okay. There's enough of those around. I'm not too worried about the lantern. All right, so those things,
There's
those are the mundane.
thousands of them apparently in that town right over there. So I'm
Yeah,
not there.
but
I'm not in the room.
I'm not
I'm not in the
strong
room.
enough to go kill them.
I'm walking my
them.
yog.
How about give me one good magic item, and we'll call it a fair trade after this for the staff.
Give him the scarab, maybe?
What's a scarab do?
But I don't have access to the bag, so I have no idea.
You should have access to the bag. I give it to everybody.
So
Yeah, you have access.
They just look weird. When you click on the item, click on the edit button to the right because the text just doesn't show up.
Yeah,
So
the text
open
is
the,
black on black.
Yeah, so if you open the bag,
Really? It looks right to me.
No, for us it's black on black. So you have to open it up. So it's the fist-sized figurine of a scarab is crafted from large lapis lazuli gem inlaid with gold, but appears mundane.
It's basically it's a scarab that when you use it, it digs into your chest and will resurrect you if you get knocked out or killed.
Oh, yeah.
But it also lowers your constitution by 1 permanently until the scarab is out of your chest, and you suffer vivid nightmares, preventing you from getting full rests. Hit points recovers are halved, so basically if you normally take a long rest, you won't get all of your hit points back. Basically, it has a bunch of negative impacts. It's the one that you got from the mummy that was in the Setsu's tomb.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to eat or drink to stay alive.
you're
The
kind of
host considers
zombie-like.
undead. Yeah.
you also can't really die, or it's very hard to kill you, but a lot of negative consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should just give him that. Just saying.
This
up to you guys.
this looks like it came from the Dead South. Is that correct?
Vabi,
It's
yes.
a Vabian artifact. Is it cursed?
It's not cursed, it just has some side effects.
Sort. Okay, so Miss Tea Leaf says sort of, and the Sylvan lady says no.
It
It's,
has some side effects. It may not necessarily be cursed.
some people could see it as cursed because of the negative side effects, but it's just side effects of using it.
Well, I can feel the power coming off of this thing. That feels ancient. So, I would say this is fair. We'll go. If that's amenable to all of you, it does mean you're walking out of here without any coins, though. Mm-hmm. And
I'm actually
the
fine with
Lothario
that.
here wanted some coins, I thought.
Yeah, it's fine.
It'll be fine. I have one question for you.
Let me go ahead and tell you guys. Justin has been complaining to me that you guys don't have gold coins, or that he doesn't have any gold coins for like a month.
So you guys, so just as a heads up, if I remember correctly, I didn't put my gold bars down, right?
Correct.
Or
You
did
still
I?
have yours. No, you didn't. You
Okay.
still have yours. Yeah.
So I was gonna wait till everything else, then bring mine in afterwards. Anyways,
Okay,
I just
all right,
wanted to
that's
see
fair.
how it all played out.
Then
first.
for the sake, because we're over time anyways, for the sake of what we'll do is we'll trade all of that, and then there'd be 5. You had 2 gold bars, Justin.
I have 3 in my inventory.
Okay. So he's giving 200 each.
And-
So
So
600
basically
gold.
600 split
Yeah.
4-way.
You 5 ways. Well, assuming you're going to give Nazim some
I'm
coins
not
too.
gonna give Nazim any coins. I don't know Nazim yet.
So am I adding the 600 to the bag of holding?
A $3,000 fucking
Well,
coat.
We'll split them, and the staff presumably, unless one of you guys is going to take the staff.
No, the
Probably
staff was for
the most
him.
Powerful fucking thing. He's probably
It is
with-
ridiculously
You guys
overpowered.
read
Yeah.
that staff? That staff is insane.
Yeah.
He's probably as powerful, like physically hitting something, as Norok now.
Well, it's not quite
If it-
that high.
if it-
And well, if he uses the charges, yes. If he uses the charges,
Yeah.
it can be.
Okay, so am I adding 600 to the bag of holding?
No, I'll split it up. I'll divvy it up for everybody.
Oh, okay, because the bag does it itself, like so that it's like split 5 ways. So like we have 5
does,
gold each in it right now. So it's
Sorry
yeah.
about that.
Listen, so if anyone's curious, the staff has 2d8 plus 4 charges at dawn. So let's just say it had.
Well, it's going to be a little bit modified, but keep that in mind.
Okay.
Yeah,
Never mind then.
yeah.
But
But either
all-
way, I mean, it is still insanely powerful. It's not quite as powerful as what's on there, and it
Base-
won't have all those spells.
Got it.
But-
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That never mind then, because I'm looking at this, I'm like, this motherfucker could do up to like 60 to
Well,
100.
okay, so the main
points
thing,
damage.
the one I wanted to point out is that retributive strike, which is if he gets hit, and basically what I'm gonna adjust that one to if he takes a hit and is still conscious, he can strike back with it and expend as many charges as he wants. Which
Yeah, but
could
that's
be,
like a one-time super attack.
yeah, but it would be
Yeah.
it'd probably obliterate about anything that hits him. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways,
For science.
Before we go, Sarah
So-
wants to know if he has any fine clothes, and she wants to buy 2 sets, and she has gold and silver and copper of her own. It's something similar to what she's already wearing.
Of course. I mean, my wife makes them anyways. You know what, Miss Tea Leaf? I mean, it's the least I can do certainly for this fun arrangement we've had here. You can just you can just take them, and Missy will just be happy that somebody of your stature is wearing her goods out there in the real world.
I appreciate it. So yeah, so she wants
Two sets of fine clothes. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys I didn't give you the analysis of what the amulet was, so just real quick, if you care, it is an amulet of the planes. Anytime you put this on, as soon as you put it on, you disappear and reappear on a different random plane, and the random plane that they were going to, it just happens to be Azul. The ones that came back anyways, because it's just a random die roll every time, and you disappear and he reappeared. The ones that put it on appeared in Azul, which is surrounded in tentacle monsters and shit, so hence them coming back being terrified. So alright guys,
cool.
so next week, let me look at the calendar real quick.